All right, welcome everybody to my channel. Return of the Mega Mike here. Today we are celebrating Best Picture winners. We are talking the best of them. So how tonight's stream is going to work, I'm going to bring out my panel members. They're going to introduce themselves, talk about some of their Best Picture memories, how many of them have they seen. We'll then go through 5 rounds of our favorite Best Picture winners, talk a little bit about them, and then we'll also talk about what Best Pictures mean to us, and then have some honorable mentions there. So we're definitely going to get through a lot of Best Picture films tonight. So as a reminder here, make sure you slap that like and subscribe, award the panel with those super chats, and definitely check out memberships for exclusive video content, many movie reviews, and more. But let's go ahead and bring out this panel for tonight. We got somebody that I'm sure has seen every Best Picture winner out there. We got Pierre Hangout. How we doing out there?
Hey, how's it going? Yes, I
Uh,
have seen every Best Picture winner, every single one.
so how did your journey start with Best Picture winners? When did you get through all of them?
So let's see. I guess I started collecting them all, like making a point. I'm going to own every single one of them around 2009, and I have just been collecting them ever since. Like I got all of them that had won in 2009, and then since new ones have won, I've collected those as well. So that's when the collecting started. But I think I really got into the Oscars around when Forrest Gump won, because that was the first time I saw a Best Picture winner in the theater. And then that movie went on to win Best Picture, and I just felt really special for having seen that one in the theater. And then they declared it the greatest movie of that year. So I thought that was really cool. And then that's kind of when the obsession started.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that's one of my goals eventually is to see every Best Picture winner. I'm only at 51 right now, so I got to get through a lot more,
Oh
pretty much
yeah.
double that. But that's great that you have them all in your collection. Now,
Yep.
do you double dip on any of them when they get released to like new formats or new editions?
On occasion, I've been very slow to do that, but that's something
Mhm.
I would like to do. Most of the collection, unfortunately, is DVD, but a few of them I have upgraded. And I have like director's cut versions versus theatrical, doubled up in that sort of way, but they aren't all 4K or Blu-ray yet.
But they're all on DVD, right?
Yeah, DVD and higher.
Perfect. Yeah, so I can definitely at least get all of them to DVD. So that is good news. I didn't know they were all available on DVD.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and bring out my Oscarology expert. How we
Yep,
doing out
Jared.
here?
I'm good. Thanks for thanking of me for doing this. I appreciate it. Yeah, my Oscar journey. What would that be? I guess I started watching it like obsessively when I started working at the movie theater back in like 2000. Uh, so every year I would play the Oscar game where you try to get as many right as you can with my coworkers, and I still do that with my wife and friend today.
Were
You
you eating the disgusting food back then too, or was that brand new
know,
this year?
that was my wife's idea this year, yeah. So I might do it again next year, but I probably won't live stream the whole thing because I wasn't really able to watch the show. But I still want to get the funny, gross reactions from eating gross things. So if anyone wants to watch me eat gross things, go back and watch the 30-minute version as opposed to the 3.5 hour long version. But pretty much when I started collecting DVDs was around that same year. And I started collecting the AFI Top 100 films collection, which is a lot of Best Picture winners and nominees in that collection. So a lot of those, like Derek was saying, are still on DVD in my collection, but I've been slowly upgrading them throughout. But I have only seen probably around half of them as well,
Mm.
maybe a little more than that. A lot of the older ones I haven't seen, but pretty much every single new one. I try to buy all the nominees every year as well, and at least see all the nominees before the Oscars. I can't see every nominee in every category, but I at least try to see all the Best Picture nominees. So yeah, I've been at it to an extent for 2 decades and then some.
That's dedication though, especially with the nominees. Like I didn't even go down that rabbit hole. The nominees, that is a ton of movies right there. That would
Yeah,
take like, oh my goodness,
yeah,
many years.
year by year is not so hard, but yeah, going back and watching all of them, yeah, that's something. And I did look into it. There's actually because I was going to make a video about it, I never did. But there's only 6 Best Picture winners that are not on Blu-ray in America. and one of them was Coda from last year. So
I know we need a good release of that one. We should definitely get a 4K of that. But
yeah, there is overseas, but not here. I think you got like a promo copy or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why mine is a screener copy.
Yeah. That's awesome though. You got that.
all right, let's go ahead and bring in Excelsior Movie Reviews. How we doing out there, Steve?
Hey, how's it going, Mike? Yeah, thank you.
Doing good. Tell us about your Best Picture journey.
Yeah, I think it started sometime probably around the early '90s with the Silence of the Lambs. Probably the first one I ever saw. I've seen most of the Best Picture nominees since like the late '60s. You know, just over the years, just watching on video and such. But that's probably, I guess, probably around 50 or so that titles. I think I've noticed like someone going over the list. There were some titles I haven't seen in recent years. Most of the ones in the last 10 years, but there are a few in there that I forgot even won Best Picture at one point. And I do watch the Oscars every year. I'm excited about it. Every year I try to watch all the nominees. I think there were like 10 last couple of years, 10 each year, and I finally did see all the nominees this year. So yeah, just so I can know how to pick them, and I picked the Best Picture winner from 2022. So yeah, definitely. Really excited to be on the show tonight, Mike. Thank you.
Oh yeah, of course. And that's an accomplishment in itself. I mean, you got through Tar. Anybody that gets through Tar deserves an award.
It is a long movie.
Yeah, we did.
Yes. And
yeah, it's like Hollywood now can't. I guess they don't edit movies anymore. Maybe they know that a lot of movies aren't going to be purchased on physical media, so they feel like they have to put the director's cut in the theater and not take out anything in the theaters. They throw everything at you. Like Babylon, it was like over 2 hours long.
I love Babylon though. Babylon had a good time with, but Tar,
it's a good movie. It goes a little bit over.
Biopic movie the whole time.
Yeah, that was great.
And then later I was informed it was not. I'm like, what? Why is this so boring? This felt so educational. Now it's not.
Now it's pointless.
I know. Like, at least I'm learning about this great EGOT winner. I'm like, at least my brain is expanding here. But all right, let's go ahead and bring in Movies with Ryan. How we doing out there?
I could be better. A little under the weather, but thank you for having me. I'm probably the Neanderthal when it comes to like awards and all that stuff because I really don't watch the Oscars and all that, but I always want to see who wins because if they're saying these are the best movies, I want to see them. So it's really helped me go back and find movies I probably wouldn't have watched. And it's also helped me back catalog older titles that I definitely would not have watched because I'm not really a pre-1970s movie kind of watcher. So going back and watching stuff that they say is the best of the best has definitely helped me expand my, base of movies and check other stuff out. And I think I'm probably same sentiment with Derek. About half of the movies I've actually seen. I think like 42 of the 96 is what I've watched.
Oh, that's still a great number there. And I'm glad you did mention it gives you more of something to go back to with those older decades because I would have no idea where to start, but at least I can look at those nominees, those Best Picture winners, and that gives me some starting point to actually go and watch some of those older movies. So I do appreciate that myself.
Yeah. Yes, very much so.
All right, let's go ahead and bring out. We got Ben Buster in the house. How are we doing out there?
I'm doing well. How's everyone else doing tonight?
Oh, wonderful.
Very
Good.
That's good. That's good. My my whole thing with the Academy Awards or the Oscars started in like '97. I remember actually sitting down and watching them for the first time. As I go through that list, like when I was preparing for this, I was like, "What movies were then?" Because I started then, and I was looking at the list. I'm going, "Yeah, I saw that one. I saw that one. I saw that one. I saw that one. I saw that one." That was the first year. I'm like, I've seen all these movies. And when Titanic won, I'm like, yeah, I could tell why it won. So it was one of those things that was like, it kind of got me into, okay, if Titanic was a Best Picture winner, what were some of the stuff I missed before I started getting into and watching it? And so, like Ryan, it's helped me go into a back catalog of stuff I would never even have seen, usually. That and back in the day, Stars and Encore were big helps too. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Titanic. I'm sure that will be brought up tonight. But I love when a blockbuster wins because then it gets more people interested in the Oscars and actually going to
Yeah.
check out these movies. And then they might branch out to the nominees and all that. So I do appreciate a good blockbuster out there. All right, let's go ahead and check into this audience. Let's see who is joining us tonight. All right, we got Adrian James here saying, hello there, Mike. How's your day been? My day has been busy, but very enjoyable. Besides the Super Mario Brothers movie, but we don't talk about that. We got Holland Oates in the house. Peer Hangout, Mr. Derek. And other Derek. Movies and Sue.
Hello,
Hi,
hello.
guys. Have an amazing live stream. Thank you so much.
You too, Sue.
Yes, Sue was just having a live stream herself, so
It
that
is
was a
finished.
great one as well. And then speaking of live streams, Nerdy Film Girl was just on KB's conversation, so that was a fun live stream as well. Hey everyone, as a big Oscar fan, I love this topic. Yes. Craig is saying hi, Mike and guests. Got Steve saying greetings, gentlemen and flick fiends. Fish is in the house. Hey guys, sorry tonight. Cheers to a great stream. Yes, cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Clink.
All right, Nerdy Film Girl says we all need to do a mega live stream pre-Oscars next year. I like the sound of that. I will definitely take note of that. Yeah.
Pre-game, post-game, yeah.
Yeah, because I did do an after party, so that was kind of the post-game show, but a pre-game show before, I do like that idea. Venencio saying, what's up, mega peoples? Fish saying, I second that, Tracy. That's it. I really like the idea. Adrian saying hello to everybody. Everybody's saying hello to each other. We got Brian Goes Blue in the house, though. Hello, Brian. Everybody's saying hello. Brian says, these best picture winners really make me want to pop in a Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah. You catch all the winners.
All the best picture winners I see. I still only own like 2 Vinegar Syndrome titles, like Roadhouse and Drop Dead Fred.
It's a good 2 to have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yep.
seeing Titanic in Dolby 4K in February. See, I missed out on that because I felt like I just watched Titanic the week before. And so I'm like, I don't want to go back for it, but I should have.
It's a long movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need like reclining chairs for that one. A nice, good theater. Let's see. We got some people are mentioning there's some Arrow titles on sale this Easter. Yeah, I didn't even know.
It started today, yeah, the Arrow sale.
Yeah, the Easter Carnage sale started.
I felt like wasn't there just an Arrow sale? I felt there was like an Arrow sale not too long ago.
There
We
was
had a sale on like a handful of movies like last week.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like an actual sale really. This is on like a lot of stuff, so it's actually worth looking at.
All right, so let's get into our 5th favorite best picture. So, Mr. Peer Hangout, what do we got?
So I apologize if I'm knocking this one out of anybody's number 1 spot, but mine is the 1955 winner, Marty. So,
No.
this is a very simple Best Picture winner. I think a lot of people, if they watch this, are like, "Wait, how did this win?" Because it's very like simple love story, and it's actually based off of a TV show back when TV was like filmed live, like presented live. So this is like the first like movie television show adapted into a movie. Gosh, what am I trying to say? Movie that was adapted by a TV show to win. But yeah, if you like the movie Rocky, this is Rocky without the boxing.
Yeah. That's Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
Right?
And he won that year.
Yeah, you won
He's
this.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that movie, so
No, I haven't
great
either.
recommendation there, Derek. I got to check it out. You sold me when I heard Rocky. I'm like, ooh, another
But
Rocky.
there's no boxing. No boxing in it.
Hey,
So it's not
you know,
Rocky at
it's
all.
Close to Rocky. It's
No, Rocky's a love story. I forget boxing is even in it.
Yeah.
Yo
It's a
Marty.
simple plot.
All right, now on to No Convicted for Old Cinephiles. Great name, by the way.
Yeah, got it when you cut away. This is probably higher and all, but I'm going to do it because I want to say it. And I'm only putting it at my number 5 because Return of the King is amazing. And I know everyone's going to talk about it to some extent, but it clearly only won for the sake of the franchise. It deserved to win anyways. I'm not going to say it didn't, but because it won for the sake of the entire franchise, that's why it's my number 5 and not potentially higher than that. But I love this movie and I love the whole series. And in all honesty, Fellowship of the Ring probably should have won also. But that's another live stream discussion.
See, Ryan had it ready to go too, and I had it ready as well.
I took it out of the list, too.
I figured everyone would have that.
Yep.
Wow.
Nope. Nope.
Thank you, Derek.
I know, man. I was going to be my
That's
first
right.
one too. All right, $1 million
This one over
bid.
there.
All right. Mine comes from 1957, winner of the Best Picture. It holds a place in my life because where this was actually located, it was filmed. I actually got to see that bridge, albeit since the movie actually blew up that bridge, they rebuilt it since then. But there's a placard in Sri Lanka about the filming of the bridge over the River Kwai. So the reason it's number 5, like I said, it not only is it a great war movie about POWs who sabotage a bridge, it's a key spot to the Japanese stronghold. Like I said, I've actually seen where that bridge is located, and they actually built a bridge exactly the same way and identical, but with steel now in Sri Lanka. So, going there, seeing that location, that was awesome. So that's why it's my number 5.
Awesome.
That movie's so good.
Mhm.
If I'd watched it more, it probably would be higher on my list for sure. I think I've only seen it once though.
Yeah, I've only seen it one time. To me, that movie feels really long. I don't love the first half, but when it gets into all the bridge stuff towards the end, that's when it picks up for me.
It is a little slow to begin with, yeah, for a war
See,
movie.
I watched it as a kid on TV. I know it was like one of my grandpa's one of his favorite movies, so I need to watch it as an adult and appreciate it more.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good.
Is it true that that whistling song came from that movie, or did that song exist beforehand? Anybody know?
Oh, I didn't remember.
I don't remember either.
That one? No.
That's a great one, though. If it did start that, good on
Yeah,
that.
I heard that, but I don't know if that's true.
Hey,
It
this is
seems
the internet.
too-
If you heard it,
Too good
it's
to be true.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All
Some
right,
18-year-old
Ryan.
probably said it was true.
Oh,
Right.
come on, Mike. Every Ryan, all at Ryan. So I'm just gonna take this
you're
one
right.
right off the bat. I championed this movie last year. As soon as I seen the trailer for it, I made a video on it. It's my favorite movie of 2022, and we're just gonna go straight ahead and say Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Nice.
This movie blew me away. Just all the technical stuff they got away with, the small crew they used, Michelle Yeoh, Ki Kwan, I can never say his name, Data, and everybody else that's in this movie was amazing. The visual effects, the story, you could take all the sci-fi action world jumping out of it, and you've really got a family drama, and it's just a great, great story. And that's it.
Wow, that looks really good.
That's right.
Great pick.
That's a good one.
I didn't think anybody was going to pick that one just because it's a recent Best Picture winner, but good call. Oh, and you got the nice Slippy cover with it, too.
No. This is the French import.
Ooh, that's the Steelbook? I'm like, I saw the
Yeah.
googly eyes. I'm like, wait, that's even better.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, it's easily
Shiny.
probably one of my favorite movies in the last 10 years or so that's came out that's completely blown me away with, and I've watched it since then. When I picked up the copy, I watched it again. It wasn't as impactful, but there was just so much stuff. I was paying more attention to all the stuff in the background versus the actual forefront and picking up on all these extra stuff that they put in the movie. So I need to watch it a third time and appreciate it again.
There's an insane amount of things going on in that movie.
Yes, a bunch of stuff.
You need to
All
watch it in
right.
slow motion.
I
Great.
know, right? To pick up everything.
Yeah.
All right. Steve, what do we got?
All right, so my number 5. This one I actually just watched last weekend, but it's $1 Million Baby. It's a Clint
Nice
Eastwood
movie.
film. Really sad, really sad kind of ending to this for sure. But Morgan Freeman, Hilary Swank, amazing. I think it's something that starts off so so innocent, and then it just gets just near the end. It's a tearjerker, and love boxing movies. So for me, I had to put this one at number 5.
That movie completely caught me off guard. I did
Yeah,
not know
love that
what to
movie.
go into expecting it, and by the end of it, I was bawling my eyes out. I was like, "Oh my god, this was a great movie."
My dad
Understandable why
spoiled
it
it
won.
for me.
Oh yeah, it
But I still
shocked
love
me too because I thought it was going to be like a happy story, kind of how Rocky turns
Yeah.
out and all of that. And then when it happened, you're like, "What? Did this really just happen?
This is realistic, kind of.
Is it going to get better anytime?"
It's like Marley and Me.
so
but with
heart-wrenching.
boxing.
What
All
you got
right.
for us, Mike?
Yeah. So, well, I was gonna go with Return of the King, but I mean that totally already got taken just because it's an epic fantasy adventure story, amazing blockbuster, finishes the trilogy perfectly. But because that was already taken, we got to choose something else here. And I do love a good musical. So out of my collection, we're gonna go My Fair Lady.
Nice.
Great musical,
Nice.
one of the best classic musicals of all time. I love the songs. I love the scenery and just all the characters. It is a super long movie, so I've only seen it once. I need to go back and watch it again. But with that first watch, I'm like, yes, this is like top 3 musicals of all time. I love it. So can't go wrong with some My Fair Lady. You have that to Peer Hangout?
Oh,
Yeah, not on my list,
Nice
but
looking one. Let's see that.
yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
show the cover just in case somebody wanted to see it.
Oh, that's a nice looking one.
Yeah, I love those
Yeah,
Warner Brothers.
I love the illustration on the front there.
That's the same one I have. It's great.
All right, let's check into these comments here. All right, we got Coco in the house saying hello to everybody. Let's see, everybody saying hello to Coco. Darwin saying my answer has to be Birdman or Parasite. Ooh, both good choices. Let's see, we got Holland Oates saying Marty. You chose Marty. That one did catch me off guard too. That one I'm like, wasn't expecting that one. Let's see. It looks like everybody's excited for a pre-game show for the Oscars. Absolutely. Let's see. Vanessa saying you just got to be okay with reverse art. All right. Nice. So let's get into our 4th favorite best picture. Yeah, number 4. Mr. Peer Hangout. What do you
Wow.
got?
Okay. I'm kind of surprised I get to do this for real this time. Last time I was making a joke, but Silence of the Lambs is number 4. This was a good year. Also, Beauty and the Beast was also nominated. I probably personally would have picked that one, but this is the one that won. Elizabeth Taylor was the one to announce it, along with Paul Newman standing beside her. But yeah, we talk about the Academy running away from genre a lot of the time, but this one, often regarded as the first horror film to win. Horror thriller, we've got other subgenres to attach to it, but it does feel very unique when you're looking at the entire history of Best Picture winners. This one truly does stand out. And then Anthony Hopkins, there's that great debate over whether or not he won for lead, but is he supporting? What do you say? Is it screen time or is it presence within the film? Maybe not physical presence, but the way
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Man, Derek, you get all the ones that have all the clips. Sorry, Derek. Yeah.
Oh, continue, Mr. Peer Hangout.
Oh, I guess that was it. That was all I was going to say. Did I?
All right.
Maybe I cut out or something.
To kind of answer your question, it's the same way of how Heath Ledger won for Best Supporting Actor for The Dark Knight. he wasn't necessarily the main character, but like you could have argued that Heath Ledger deserved Best Actor because he was pretty much more in that movie than Christian Bale was. But
Right.
I could kind of see that where he wasn't necessarily the main character, but he is enough of a supporting character in it.
And then you could also look at it as a franchise. So if you're looking at the Dark Knight franchise,
Yeah.
then Heath Ledger is supporting. And if you're
Mhm.
looking at, I don't know what you would call this franchise, but then, who are we following throughout it all? The Hannibal franchise, then he is the lead,
Yeah.
And then Ryan, you have that Criterion copy right there.
Yeah, I have it
Yes.
Nice.
Even though this isn't on my top 25 90s list, little plug there. This is one of my favorite movies. Like they do such a good job of writing the story and telling the story, and this is damn near a perfect movie. I mean, it's a 9.9. You could almost say it is a 10. But yeah, deserves Best Picture winner. But I agree. I don't. In the grand scheme of things, you're right. Hannibal or Lecter, whatever you want to call him, is the main character in the whole Ark series or whatever. But it's really a Jodie Foster movie.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that one.
Oh, everybody had that one ready to go.
Yeah, I consider it to be a horror movie. To me, I consider this to be a horror movie. I mean, it's not the slashers that came from the 80s, that people thought of what horror was, but it's definitely a scary movie for sure. And it was my number one in the 90s top 25. So,
I mean, I wouldn't want to run into Buffalo Bill in a hole.
So I might be the odd one out on this. I don't consider it horror genre, but that's because I separate horror and thriller. So on my shelf, it goes in the thriller section.
Right.
That's just me.
I forgot.
It's considered to be a horror thriller. So it's kind of both, But yeah,
mine goes in that Criterion section, so it's easy.
Yeah.
So that's the solution. Well, I got the Kino Lorber of it, so I guess it does go in my Kino Lorber section. But still. All right, yeah, God, that one's so good. All right, we are now on to Other Derek. What do we got?
Other Derek. I'm picking an older one. This is like the oldest one in my stack here of my top fives. This is probably the only one from the 70s or older that I fell in love with the first time I watched it and have gone back and watched it multiple times. And it just affected me a lot more than I ever would have expected it to. And that is 1975's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. And just like Sounds of the Lambs, it won the Big Five Oscars. One of the only 3 movies that did that. But yeah, this set is great. I love this thing. But yeah, this movie's amazing. Brad Dourif's in it as Billy Babbitt. He's fantastic. It's the first thing I ever saw Brad Dourif in. I mean, knowing that he could act. I probably saw it after Lord of the Rings and Chucky, but I didn't really know Brad Dourif as an actor until I watched this movie, and I was like, oh, that's Chucky. He's fantastic, and I loved his character in this movie. But yeah, if you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it's essential viewing.
What's in that giant box? It looks like an encyclopedia.
Yeah, pretty much. It's got patient files for the crazy house, for lack of a better term. A little book. I haven't even looked in this thing for a while. It's half the reason I wanted to grab it. A book about the movie, that kind of stuff. I believe there's a deck of cards in here. Yeah. There's a deck of cards. Because why not? And then the Blu-ray.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just bought that at Half Price Books on Sunday for like $10.
Nice. Yeah, I've had it for a while. There's lobby cards in there too. Yeah, it's a sweet set. It's one I probably, even if I don't think it has a 4K yet, but even if it did, I probably wouldn't even bother getting it just because the set's so nice and I'm dropping playing cards everywhere.
All right, Ben. What do we
This
got?
one, this one, if you saw my top 25 list that I did for Tim with his challenge for the 90s, this was actually on my list. It is Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Good one.
So, I mean, I had a history teacher in high school and a professor in college who made history come alive. It just made me fall in love with history, and so that's pretty much why I like this movie. That and the story about one man trying to save an entire people group doesn't get much better than that. So,
Good one.
Yeah, great choice on that. That's like one of the only two movies that I think justifies the long run time. To me, I'm like
It does.
captivated every second. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, Ryan.
All right, I'm going to go to 1988, and we're going to go with Rain Man.
Yeah.
Definitely a
Justin
good
Hoffman.
movie. Definitely a good movie.
Yes,
I love
definitely.
Rain Man.
Dustin Hoffman killed it, acting as someone that he is not. Probably one of my more favorite Tom Cruise roles. But it's just a story about, a guy finding his brother and realizing that he's not, even though he thought he was in the best situation, that he wouldn't have to deal with it. He realizes it's not the best situation. So he exploits his brother a little bit out of it. But in the end, it's really just a good family movie. I guess you could call it a family movie. Charlie Babbitt likes to drive on the driveway or whatever. But Rain Man, 1988. That's my favorite.
Good one.
Whatever
I
number
love
we're on. 4.
See,
There
that's
we go.
one I still have to watch.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I grew up on that movie. Oddly,
Yeah, and
Here's a
that one just
cover.
got a 4K release, right? Did anybody pick
it's
that up?
going to soon.
Or it's going
Yeah.
to?
I think it was going to, and it got delayed a bunch.
Just
It's
remember
still
what
on
Kirk
though.
Lazarus said.
All right, Steve.
All right. Well, so this one is not Star Wars. This one is Annie Hall.
Nice.
It's still a good movie, but it's still not Star Wars. It's a
Right.
Woody Allen movie. Diane Keaton. I like this. Actually, this past weekend, when I saw this is like the DVD copy, but I decided to buy it on Blu-ray. Actually, this being told that I was gonna be on this live stream. I decided to kind of upgrade some of my Oscar picture, best picture winners, just because a lot of them I had on DVD and I hadn't watched in years, and it's basically because I didn't want to watch them on DVD necessarily, but it just gave me an opportunity to kind of upgrade these, and you can find a lot of these pretty cheap on Amazon for on Blu-ray for like $7, $8. So to me, it's a perfect opportunity to do it. But Star Wars is probably a better movie that year in 1977, but this is still a good movie, and I love his movie Manhattan as well, which it didn't win Best Picture, but Woody Allen was kind of on fire in the late 70s, So love this one though.
That's a good one. Easily my favorite movie of his that I've seen so far.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that's
that
like
was
the
one I
only Woody
considered.
Allen movie I've seen.
Yeah, me too. That's definitely the only one I've seen.
Check out Midnight in Paris then.
Midnight in Paris is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one might be
I
my
think I've seen
favorite.
that
of those.
too. Then I feel like I've seen that. That sounds familiar.
Scenes from a mall. Mm-hmm.
Is Midnight in Paris? Is that the Owen Wilson one?
Yeah,
Okay, I own it. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, that's a good one. Annie Hall is great, and oh, was that me? Sorry.
You're good.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Darren.
So yeah, I was just gonna say Annie Hall's really good. I like that. It's like self-aware. It like knows it's a movie. It's very meta. And Diane Keaton is in it, but she's also in The Godfather. And within that movie, he's mentioning The Godfather, which is also a Best Picture winner. So I don't know. I just kind of like that overlapping of Best Picture within that movie.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was one of the first meta movies then, right? I can't think of another one before that. But...
Blazing Saddles.
Maybe you could maybe say Tom Jones, because that's the first Best Picture winner to break the fourth wall. So that might be the first meta one. But then after that, yeah, I would say definitely.
Before it was a thing.
Right.
Jeff Goldblum's in it as well, I believe. A young Jeff Goldblum in that movie. So
Yeah. For a
lot of young
second.
stars.
Bill Murray too, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is the movie that is the first
Ooh,
Best Picture winner to break the fourth wall. Oh, sorry.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so I can't believe nobody's picked this yet. I know somebody mentioned it though, but might as well pull Forrest Gump. Yeah, probably the best
Nice.
Tom Hanks movie of all time, just for Tom Hanks' performance. It is heartwarming. It's hilarious in some moments. It's dramatic in other moments. You got a romance story in there, but I mean, you just feel for Forrest Gump the whole time. But Forrest Gump is just doing so much. He's so ambitious. I mean, becoming ping pong champion, meeting all the president and all that great stuff. I love how they incorporate all those historical scenes. The visual effects with all of that are amazing. And so it's a great movie. It's wonderful. We've talked about it so much, so I don't need to say too much more about Forrest Gump, but
Yeah.
it's fantastic. So many great quotable lines as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
You know who the young Forrest Gump Jr. is in the movie? It's Haley Joel Osment from
Yeah.
Sixth Sense that plays his son in the
Oh.
movie. Like a lot of people probably wouldn't recognize that because he looks so young in the movie, but yeah.
Did you do that as number 4 on purpose, or is it just a happy coincidence?
That was just a happy coincidence. I'm like, nobody pulled this yet. I might as well pull it.
Better get it. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, let's see. We got Darvin here saying the night vision scene in Silence of the Lambs feels so fake. What?
Oh,
It seems great.
Darvin, are
Yeah.
you not a fan of the Silence of the Lambs?
It feels
it's
so
all-
fake. Oh, I love
It's
it.
obvious that there's another source of light, so it ruins the impact.
Well, you got to think at the technology of night vision at the time, which I'm no night vision expert at all, was very, very, very poor. So I'm assuming for recording purposes, if they would have not used the extra light, we would have never seen anything.
Right. It's a great scene.
All right.
Don't poop on it.
Very suspenseful.
We got my mom in the chat saying hi to everyone.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Terry.
We got Craig saying Ben-Hur. That's another one I still need to see, actually.
Mhm.
Take the
Set
weekend off.
aside a few days. Yeah.
A few days. I'm guessing it's a 4-hour movie then.
Yeah, more or less.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
If you
I
watch
don't know. I was
the
gonna say, if you've
intermission,
seen-
Oh, you froze, Pierre.
Oh,
Hang
was
on.
it?
Yeah.
you'll be there for a while if you watch all the interlude and all that stuff.
Mm.
Tim was opening up those 100 years boxes, and like every one of them was just single disc, and then when he opened up the Ben Hur,
sorry.
two middle, I was like, geez, it's even.
So
still
you
two
need to.
discs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
sure.
because a lot of special features too. I'm guessing. Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know how many
Hey,
special
Derek.
features they put in those boxes.
Derek, with your Oscarology and trivia knowledge, is Ben-Hur technically the very longest Best Picture with counting all the intermission and everything?
Probably. I don't know offhand if it is, but it seems like it. I can't think of one that's longer off the top of my head, except for maybe the
Yeah, I
extended
figure it's
version.
that, Lawrence of Arabia, or Gone with the Wind, probably.
I know the Wind might be longer. That's the only one that might be longer. The extended version of Return of the King might be longer, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
definitely.
if you count that.
Mhm.
We got Gordon saying match point is, for my money, Woody Allen's masterpiece. Lots of love for Manhattan, Annie Hall, and Crimes and Misdemeanors.
Yeah.
Match Point's really good too.
That one took me
Darwin
off guard
saying-
because of how serious it was.
Yeah, it's not funny at all. Yeah.
According to IMDb, Lawrence of Arabia is 218 minutes. Ben-Hur is 212 minutes.
Oh,
Oh wow, okay.
actually, Godfather Part 2 might even be longer than that.
Godfather Part 2 is 202 minutes.
Okay, I'm like, I knew it was like 200 or so. God damn.
3 hours and 22 minutes. Yeah.
Hot damn.
Yeah, Darwin saying I do like The Silence of the Lambs. Similar way to how I like Vertigo, a movie that I overall really like, but it has a really bad scene. Darwin saying if Criterion can put Malcolm X on one disc, Warner Brothers can put Ben-Hur on one disc.
Gone with the Wind is 238 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. As soon as you said that, I'm like, yeah, that's the longest one.
It's a long one.
Not quite 4 hours. Jesus.
But I'm wondering, like you were saying, Derek, I wonder if that's not including like the original cut with the intermissions and all that stuff too. if
According
that's
to Ben-Hur, it's 212 without all that.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it probably is.
I don't think they include that as a thing. No, I'm checking the Lord of the Rings one because I have it handy. 263 minutes.
Oh,
Ooh,
Lord of the Rings.
263. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't remember. I was like, yeah, it's
Non-theatrical,
about 4
though.
hours and 20 minutes. Yep, that's exactly what it is. That's hilarious.
Oh,
That's definitely the shortest 4 hour and 20-minute movie I've seen. Let's put it that way.
yes.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
for
think
sure.
they were that long, the Lord of the Rings ones. Even the extended ones, I'm like, oh, probably gets close to 4 hours. All right, so now we're on number 3, right? Third favorite Best Picture? Pure Hangout. What do we
Okay.
got?
I feel so bad. I feel like I'm taking all of these heavy hitters, or at least two of them. A big apology to Mike, but Rocky is my number 3.
Is he talking to me? He's talking to you. Is he talking to me? Let him talk while he can talk.
You talking to me?
I know there's boxing in it, but truly, I feel like this is like a beautiful one of my favorite love stories. When I'm crying at the end, it's not. I mean, I think it's this way for everybody because spoilers. He doesn't win. We're all crying because not necessarily what he accomplished within the ring, but I don't know. I think I like seeing him sort of ignoring all of that and has his sights fully set on Adrian. I don't know. It gets me every single time. And when Paulie lets her into the ring, it's just, I don't know. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. It's such a great movie. And Mike, you can add to it because I know this is one of your favorite films of all time. So I'll stop if you want to add.
No, you're good. You're good. Rocky isn't my favorite out of the Rocky franchise, so I'll let you have it. Now, if it was the whole franchise, that'd be different. We're talking some Rocky 4 then. But...
I like the original a lot. But then,
All right. Let's go. What do we got?
Well, my number 3 was Schindler's List. So since somebody took that, I'll go to my number 2, which is Silence of the Lambs. So since somebody took that, I'll go to the movie I moved to the top of my backup pile, which happened to be Rain Man. And then Ryan mentioned that. So I'm going to try to take a good old one here. Another one I watched growing up because my mom and sister watched it constantly. And then a dozen years or so later, fell in love with it. And that is
Oh yeah.
The West Side Story from 1961. Winner of 10 Academy Awards, including everything except for screenplay. That's the only thing it didn't win. Won 10 for 11 that year. But yeah, West Side Story is amazing. Arguably the best musical to win Best Picture. Probably my favorite. I had this in Chicago, like neck and neck. I probably watch Chicago more often, to be honest, but this is more important in the annals of Oscar history, so I went with that one first.
So I've never seen the original, but I love the remake. How does it compare for you? Do you prefer the original to the remake?
I mean, I'd say yeah, just because I've only seen the remake like once so far. But it is very, very good. It's definitely better than it ever should have been, considering it shouldn't have been made in the first place necessarily. But being Steven Spielberg's first musical ever, he did a damn good job doing it.
All right, Ben.
My number 3 is a movie about when a friend gets killed by the mob. What do? You con all the money that he stole from you guys out of him. That's right. I'm going with The Sting at number 5.
Great pick.
Yeah. What made me love this movie so much is the scene where they're on the train and they're playing cards with Lonigan, and they cut back and forth. He has a guy watching. He has one of Lonigan's men watching him, and how he does it, I still don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. How he changes his hand to a winning hand in front of everyone. His sleeves are rolled up, so he's not hiding cards there. He has a guy watching his every move behind him. I just feel that piece right there is one of those mysteries that's like, whoa, this guy's actually a con artist. Like, he could con the best of them just by not even doing anything. So, yeah.
Great choice with that one.
Great movie. I need to watch it again. It's been a long
time.
Yeah, it felt very different from like other Best Picture winners. So I really enjoyed it.
I don't own that for some reason.
Help rejuvenate Paul Newman's career.
That one has great opening credits. Also, it's all illustrated, and they've illustrated basically what the job is that they're showing. So, like cinematography, they're showing a cinematographer filming, and I don't know, it's really creative the way they did that.
Yeah.
Where's Ryan? Ryan disappeared. He truly is everywhere.
He was offended by the Sting, apparently.
He went to
Here's my copy.
a different dimension. Oh, Pure Hangout. Let's see that one.
So this is DVD.
Yeah, those are cool sets. I like those.
This is DVD, but it has like faux leather right here, so it looks like it's leather bound, and then it opens up similar to a book. But yeah, I always like that because it has that faux leather, so it kind of looks like a book. Nice gold on it.
I like that one. That one's nice. Yeah.
I had what's that called? Universal Legacy Collection? Is that what that's called? Am I remembering that?
Is that what it is? I don't remember.
On the gold.
Yes. Yeah,
those were cool. Yeah, I had like Frankenstein and a few other ones like that. Those are nice sets. I wish I had more cases like that. I love digibook packaging like that.
Yeah, I think that case is better than the steelbook I had. Like the steelbook's cool, but that case looks way better.
Yeah. Classy DVD packaging they used to have.
But the 4K does look really nice if you pick up on the 4K. All right, let me move everybody here. There we go.
Sorry about that. I closed the wrong window out.
It happens.
No worries. So Ryan, what do we got?
All right. Again, don't close out the wrong window. There we go. I was looking at IMDb. 2008. I know most of my movies are newer, but that's who I am. Anything pre 1970, I don't really watch. But you get introduced to, I guess Jeremy Renner technically was in 28 Days Later or 28 Weeks Later before this, but this really kind of solidified him as a star, and Anthony Mackie. And that is The Hurt Locker, if you didn't know what this was from the cover of it. I really love this movie because it really looked at a war that we hadn't seen on film a whole lot yet. And it looked at war from a different perspective. I mean, he's an EOD technician. We'd never seen that before. His struggles trying to deal with his sanity while he's there and all the stuff that he's seen. And it's just a really cool look into the mind of a suicidal dude that likes to blow shit up. So The Hurt Locker, I really like it.
And that's a really cool steelbook you have of that one, right? Is that an import? Because I don't think I've seen that one.
Yes, it is a, I believe Zavvi maybe exclusive. But yeah, it's the scene where he pulls up all the bombs out of the road, and then it's got him in the back over the one thing. But yeah,
that movie definitely gets better the more you watch it, and I love his character in that movie.
The only scene that drags it out for me a little bit is the sniper scene when they get ambushed with the Brits. And they sit there, and it's about 8 to 10 minutes too long.
Yeah, like it's a great scene. But kind of shaved it a tad.
Yeah. I mean, intentionally so, but it does feel long.
Yeah, I've got that one too. I did upgrade to the 4K. I love on that. I couldn't get rid of that one because that one looks really good. But I love how they did the disc art in that 4K.
It is amazing. I almost thought it was like wrong. I'm like, did somebody swap out the disc here? Like, there's no
What's
way
it look
this
like?
is correct. Yeah, let me open it up.
They look like bootlegs, like that kid would sell.
Oh, the kid was selling.
It's my favorite disc art, like that I can remember that I've seen for any movie I've bought.
I remember Borat was that way.
Look at the stickers on there and like the Sharpie looking writing.
Oh wow!
I'm like, what is this?
That's so smart.
I opened it. I tried to pick at the sticker with my nail, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm an idiot.
You're like, I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah, such a good design.
I had a buddy come back from Afghanistan, and he brought back a lot of movies that look just like that.
All right, let's go over to Steve. What do we got?
Oh. Well, I don't know if anybody else was going to name this at all, but I have On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando, 1954. You know, he won an Oscar for this role. It was Elia Kazan, I believe, was the directed how he pronounced his name, but it has a lot of kind of older and younger kind of stars in it. Was it Lee Cobb from 12 Angry Men is like the villain in this movie. I just like last year or year before that, the first time I'd ever seen this, and it has a Herman Munsters in it as well. It's a brief a clip of it's like you see the kind of a guy with the longer face, and I thought he looks familiar, and then it was him. So yeah, I think it's a great movie, and it's on the Criterion Collection, so definitely worth checking out if you've never seen this. So I really like it though.
Yeah, the Criterion is a really nice edition of that film too.
another one I have, but I
Could have been somebody.
Yeah.
Contender.
Could have been a contender.
I watched that one recently too. I think a couple years ago now. Now I didn't love it, but I think I need to give it a rewatch. I
Yeah.
liked it, but how people talked about, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the best film of all time right now.
Right.
It wasn't
That was my
for
experience
me,
too,
but-
Mike.
Okay,
It
good. I'm not
It
alone.
tends to spoil it when people hype up a movie
Yeah,
too much.
exactly.
And
Oh,
finally
it's
see it,
so
like that was
hyped
it.
up. I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
during the Criterion sales, it's usually always on somebody's list, of recommendations. Oh, get on the waterfront. It's such a great, and I haven't bought it yet, but
Yeah.
I mean, I probably will eventually.
Yeah, wait
See,
for the 4K at this point.
See, that's
What?
a movie I wouldn't recommend to everyone. That's one I would
Right.
be like, be more cautious of this one. If you really like classic and a slower movie, that's how I would approach it. I want to be like,
Yeah.
oh no, this is great for everybody.
Yeah, I
Yeah, but
would
if you
say
tell a
you're-
Criterion snob to buy it, they'll buy it, man.
right. But I would say go to your local library, and sometimes you can rent a movie and check it out before you buy it. So they
Yeah.
have a lot of Criterions there. The libraries here in Indianapolis. So
You
can
mean
check
you
them
can
out before
save
you wanna buy
money
them.
and not have to buy the full price product?
yeah, it's like
Ryan's like, I don't understand this. What
Sounds
is this?
stupid.
What do
But-
you need?
I'm somebody. I don't like to get rid of my Criterions when I buy them. So it's like it kind of bothers me if I get rid of them. So I don't want to get something. But usually, if somebody recommends a movie, if you hear like 10 people recommend it, it's worth
Yeah,
checking
I
out.
heard a
Yeah.
lot of people recommend that one, but I think I should have previewed that one first because I don't think
Yeah.
I'm going to rewatch it all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Black and
I'm
white,
looking
yeah.
at my DVD.
And with it being on
years.
Criterion, it's like, okay,
Could go
it's the
to
Criterion
4K.
collections. It's there for a reason. So, okay, it should be a safe buy.
Yeah. So not all are big winners,
Yeah,
You know.
that is true.
necessarily.
All right, let's see. Oh, we're on to me now. Yay. So we're on third. So third place for me. My favorite dramedy of all time out of my little collection here. We're going to go with Terms of Endearment. Yes, I
Ooh.
love this movie. I think it's very underrated. To me, it's the only movie where at one instance I can be laughing hysterically, and then the next instant I'm like in tears. It's the only movie to me that balances drama and comedy so well. I mean, other movies do a decent job. I think Terms of Endearment does it the best I've ever seen. Plus, I mean, the all-star cast in there. Jack Nicholson is great in the movie. Oh, he has all the best scenes. Totally steals the show. And you got Danny DeVito in there. And then Jeff Daniels. I mean, it's all great. You got the romance going too. And it's just interesting to see how it's like they could be real life relatable people too. They're going through struggles just like everybody else. So I really like Terms of Endearment, and it doesn't get talked about enough, I think. Do you all like Terms of Endearment?
Yeah.
It's good. I've only watched it once,
That's
but
good.
it's very melodramatic, but it is good.
It
So
took
was
me
that
some.
I'm sorry.
It-
Was that his second Oscar after One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? I think didn't he win an Oscar for that role as well?
Yeah,
Jack
I remember that
Nicholson?
too. Yep.
Yeah. It took me a while to appreciate that movie because it was up against The Right Stuff, and I grew up watching The Right Stuff with my dad, so I sort of like hated the movie before I had even seen it. But now I've come around to it and I absolutely love it. And that's the movie that won the year I was born. That's the '83 Best Picture. But I turned mine, my
goodness, let's
VHS
do
into
that.
a Kleenex box because you're just crying at the end of it.
Wow,
Good
look at
idea.
that.
It's like a.
That was great.
Am I Carrot Top?
You're getting there.
Dye the mustache orange, and then we'll talk.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Carrot lip.
That's awesome.
nice.
All right, let's see. We got a hard copy blue saying Rocky. I spoke about that in my letterbox video today, how it's really about Adrian. Soon as the fight ends, he is only focused on her. See, there you go. That's a
Yo,
love
Adrian.
story romance right there.
Yep.
Nerdy film girl saying if Heath Ledger wasn't nominated, Michael Shannon would have won for Revolutionary Road. No question. Heath deserved
It's
it
so
for
good.
sure. Just saying if the film had come out a different year. So I've never seen that one, Revolutionary Road.
It's
I don't know.
very good and underrated. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Shannon's an underrated actor.
Titanic
man.
Part 2.
Yeah. It has, he's got Leo and Kate. and then Michael Shannon steals the whole movie in like 3 scenes, but he's amazing in it.
Yeah.
He
So
does it
Zod
everything
and
else.
Titanic, I'm sold. Mm-hmm.
Yep, and Kathy Bates too,
Jack and Rose had made it together.
and David Harbour before anyone gave a crap about him. He's in it too.
Somebody had
Annie
that
Hall
as a-
is my top 10. Ooh.
And Hall's great.
Somebody had
What
that
was
as
it,
a
Ryan?
quiz today on IG, the video clip from Revolutionary Road. And I was like, what movie is this? Because I thought it was Titanic at first. And then when I answered wrong and it gave the right answer, I was like, what movie is that? So I checked it out. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's Sam Mendes, which is usually pretty damn good director.
I think he and Kate
All
Winslet
right,
were
so
married
we
at
are
the
now
time.
on to number 2 already.
Number 2.
Second favorite best picture. Wow, we are flying through these tonight, everybody.
Magic.
So second favorite.
Give us more time for honorable mention.
Magic.
All right, Pure Hangout.
So speaking
Number
of
2.
Titanic 2, here's the original film, what Revolutionary Road was based off of. This is the story of how they met. And so when I think of like best picture, what does best picture mean? I know we're going to get into this a little bit later, but one of the definitions is just epic scale, and this movie has that, which is interesting because it just takes place within the ship, right? But it just feels so vast, so large, and it was the number one film box office wise for so long, and the movie's called Titanic. Again, I like that, those layers there. It's a big ship, it's called Titanic, that's what Titanic means, and then its box office itself was Titanic. But yeah, it's emotional, it's exciting, like, you know, I feel weird saying that, but it's an exciting action movie. And yeah, it was a highlight of my junior high when this came out, and I watched it. And then when I had it on VHS too.
Both of them.
Yes, both of them. One of them was more worn out than the other, though.
So Pure Hangout. When that supposedly comes out to 4K, are you going to be getting it?
That one probably. The ones that were quicker to upgrade to.
What do you mean, no, I won't? Don't presume to tell me what I will and will not do. You don't know me.
Well, you would have done it already.
I love the bait switch. Ask him a question, then play a video clip over him.
Well, I had to play a video clip. I'm like, you gotta play these video clips sometime. I'm like, the moment
I love it was
wasn't
somewhat
there, so I had to
relevant, so that would
create
work.
the moment.
Kate Winslet went on to be like an amazing, you know, her career kept going up, you know, after that. And, you know, she's
I'll
one
be
of the great
honest.
ones.
I hate Titanic, and there's the movie's a good movie.
What is this?
So here's my experience with Titanic. It came out what 97.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in high school. I was dating a girl at the time. She wanted to go see it, so we went to a midnight showing of it. I did not know
Wow.
the movie was over 3 hours long. So like halfway through the movie, I'm about asleep. The only thing I found interesting was when the ship is sinking and it starts breaking and the guy falls and you hear him go, ah, dink, and he hits the propeller. I laughed so hard. Like everybody in the theater was like, what the heck? But yeah, it was a bad experience. I've watched it since. It's a good movie, but I just, because of the experience, I just cannot stand that movie.
So Ryan, you're saying it's not a good date movie then?
Oh, yeah.
Not a midnight showing. No, no, it is not.
You get home till 5 o'clock at
I
night.
can't believe I used to go see movies at midnight like every weekend when I worked at the theater.
Yeah.
Like, all the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings movies and stuff.
I
I'm
would
like,
never
"Oh,
do
dude."
that today.
Remember, I
So
pulled an
that's fine.
all-nighter to do a review video for it for like my video production class. So I watched. I think it was when Two Towers came out because I'd already graduated when Return of the King came out. Went saw Two Towers, stayed awake, recorded video, edited it, went to school like 7 a.m, turned in the video, and then I went home sick.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Hey, since Ryan doesn't like Titanic, on Instagram there's a guy called Titanic Fan 97. He absolutely loves Titanic. He holds the record for most VHS copies
Yes,
of Titanic.
I've seen
the
that
dual,
guy's
the dual
Instagram.
VHS, the
Yeah,
double.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are you see these half price books all the time. You're like,
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
It's $1,000 cassette. No, it's not.
yeah. Go to Goodwill, you'll see tons of those. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's probably the most bought VHS
Anytime
ever.
anybody mentions Titanic, that's all I can think about. That was the dink.
Oh my God.
All right, Derek.
All right. Everyone took my 3s and 2s, so now I make up a number 2 here.
Give
Yeah,
us your ones.
I'll just do this one. American Beauty.
okay.
Nice.
I love this movie. A lot of people don't like to talk about it because of the Kevin Spacey factor, but
Right.
it's hilarious and a good drama, and I like all the characters. And what can I think of her name out now? Annette Bening is fantastic in it. Chris Cooper is like the unsung hero of this movie and is very, very subtle, great performance. And it's one of the rare movies where it's told through the eyes of someone who's already dead, which they don't do often enough. So it's very cool. It's a movie I liked the first time I saw it, but then I just fell in love with years down the road after I had seen it. So
You got that and Sixth Sense.
good stuff. Yeah, that was the same. Yeah, 99 was a pretty good year too.
Yeah,
Green
99
Mile,
was a great
yeah.
year.
Sixth Sense of that.
The Matrix.
Ryan, you're falling asleep on us. You're yawning.
I'm sorry, man.
I just needed a
sorry.
moment to play that video clip. That's it. All right.
Are you not
let's-
entertained?
Yeah. All right, Ben. What
All
do we
right.
got?
So, since Brendan Fraser just won the Academy Award for Best Actor for The Whale, I thought maybe I should include a movie that he's part of the ensemble cast of a movie that won Best Picture.
Sure, that's the reason.
I was certain this would be your number one, man.
It actually isn't my number one. It is my number two. It's Crash, right there.
I love that movie.
And then right there's Brendan Fraser. And of course, Sandra Bullock right there.
The love of your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's gonna be in the top 5 somewhere.
it had to be. Well, like literally, it was the only one Best Picture she was in that was actually won. So, but I love the concept of this movie of where they all are different stories that intertwine together eventually. I just love it.
Yeah,
There
I
we
don't
go.
understand the hate for it. Like, I love the movie too. I thought that the aspect of the winding stories, not everybody's dog shit in that movie, and it just makes it good. And I don't mean like bad acting; like they're just all
No.
shitty people, and it's great.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've
like
never
Michael
seen that
Peña.
movie, so
I like the movie. I just I watched it recently when I did the 2000s Best Picture thing we did,
Mhm.
and it's just I already knew this because I'd watched it several times. I liked the movie a lot when it came out, but it's so on the nose to the point where
Yeah.
it's just irritating.
Yeah.
But it's other than that, it's really good, and I love how it's written and cut together and everything.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the storyline there for Paul Haggis, he wrote that. I think for him, he's probably happy that it's kind of not as relevant now as it used to be because of the racial element in it. In a good way. I think he's probably happy that people kind of moved past that since 2004. But Paul Haggis was on fire during that time. He did another movie that I'm probably not. Well, another movie I mentioned earlier, $1 Million Baby. He wrote that, and he wrote the screenplay, and then he did the James Bond movie in the year after that, 2005, 2006, with Daniel
right,
Craig's Casino
Right.
Royale. He did the screenplay for that. So he was kind of on fire during that time, So it's not a bad movie though.
and for Crash, there's multiple movies called Crash, right? So I'm looking for the
Yeah.
one with Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
2005's Crash.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
if you
they-
want to have some good time with your wife, you want the Cronenberg
Cronenberg,
Crash.
yeah.
Ooh,
That's,
Nice.
that
all
one
right.
is about racism.
Double
That
feature right
the
there.
Cronenberg one is about car crash and having sex.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Taking autoerotic to a different meaning.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. What do we got?
Oh, Ryan, go.
If anybody's been watching my channel for any time, you know my love for Asian cinema, and I think this pissed off a lot of people, but we're going to go ahead and say Bong Joon-ho's Parasite.
Yeah.
The dynamic between the Park and the Kim family and the I can't even think of the word now. I just went completely blank. The class war, basically, it's in this, and the twist, and the family living in the basement, and I love Bong Joon-ho. Like, since I watched this movie, this is what introduced me to him, and this is just a crazy, weird ride. And I love the way Asian cinema does their stuff because it's just so not American. Of course, it's Korean, but it's great. So Parasite, and I know it's another close newer winner, but it's a great movie. Everybody should watch it.
It is great. I need to watch it again. I've only seen it once. Does it? If you flip that around, does it still say Parasite on it?
Yes. So it says. So yeah, it says
Nice.
Parasite like
Cool.
9 different ways on
Cool.
it. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
cool.
on the stairs there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was missing that. I couldn't see it. Now I got it.
Yeah, the letters.
Yeah.
That's
a cool
awesome.
movie.
Clever.
That's a great movie. And there's only like 14 different versions of it to buy, so get on it.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
the.
that's a really good one.
I did
Yeah,
the
I have that one
Criterion.
too.
Yeah. Still haven't opened it yet.
Me too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask Peer Hangout if you've seen the black and white version of it.
No, not yet. I really want to. I like that. That's kind of become a trend, like with Logan and Fury Road and gosh, what is it? Mist. Is that what it's called? Mist? Yeah.
The Mist, yeah. The Mist one is
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
The Mist black and white was good. The Logan black and white I actually thought made it better. The Mad Max Fury Road, I didn't care for the black and white too much in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really just, I don't think it did anything, but the black and white and Parasite looks really good too.
Nice. Well, like the
Yeah.
Mist, you wanted the Mist to be black and white, so it makes
Yeah.
sense to release it that way.
Yeah.
The studio just
And I think that with the Mist, it helped the special effects, where the
Yeah.
special effects were a little bit wonky. I feel like the black and white sort of made them fit a little bit more. It was okay that they didn't look perfect.
made them seem more old fashioned and not just mediocre CGI.
Right.
Yeah. Fury Road, the colors are like pop in that movie. You really need color. Like black and white not gonna work for that kind of movie.
Yeah, that's a weird one though, for some reason.
Black and chrome.
Yeah, or the what's the other one? Justice League, right? Doesn't they that they do that?
Also, well, with Fury Road, black and chrome, I got a problem with that because chrome, because of car culture, people think that means like silver, like gray, basically. But chrome means color. So
Yeah.
basically, they're calling that the color version, and
Black
that's
and
always
gold.
upset me.
That's funny.
Yeah, the black and chromatic.
All right, Steve.
Never thought of that.
Oh. Well, this one I actually just watched recently too because I upgraded it from DVD. But it's No Country for Old Men.
Oh, Derek, you
Coen
took your
Brothers
number
movie.
one.
God damn you!
Oh,
I'm so excited. I don't
Because
see
number
it.
one, but
Should
yeah,
have
this
picked it
one's
earlier, Derek.
this one's an odd movie. Like just I mean, Javier Bardem is amazing in this in the middle there, but Tommy Lee Jones, Josh Brolin, just it's a strange movie. Like it's like what happens to Josh Brolin's character is just it's kind of uneventful in some ways, and it's strange how it ends. Some of that stuff, but it's an interesting movie though. And Tommy Lee Jones is pretty good in it as well. But I love Javier is just such a great villain in this. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Derek's over there
believe it's
saying,
number one.
"Could you hold still, please?"
You could almost argue that Anton Chigurh is probably one of the most scariest, best villains since Lecter. Like, really, that's been put on screen. He was menacing. I love the haircut and like the silent shotgun and just his, flip of a coin, life or death thing was just awesome. Very good movie.
And how do you all like the ending of that movie?
Yeah,
Because I know
it's
some
cool.
people
Yeah, it's
don't
I
love
like it.
kind
I
of
love
non
ambiguous endings, so I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
like
need
it.
to be told every single little thing in a movie to enjoy it.
yeah. You don't know Josh Brolin's wife. Like you said, flip a coin, and then he walks out of her house. Like you're not totally sure how that how that
Well,
it goes.
if you, I maybe spoilers here. If you watch him walk out, though, he looks at his boots
Yeah, he checks his boots for blood.
for blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can they kind of clued you in on the way that the crash happens. So it's kind of like kind of payback in some ways. So you kind of draw your own conclusion how it ends in some ways. But yeah, definitely looks down kind of when he closes the door. So yeah, great one though.
All right. So my number 2, second place here, I will go with The Shape of Water. Yes, Guillermo del Toro's best movie. I think this is a very romantic movie. I like all the characters in here. And I just think it's a thrilling story, too. I love the music as well and the visuals with all the water scenes. So I really enjoyed this one. Oh, and Michael Shannon, he's in this movie, too. He's a great villain. So I really like him in this. Yeah. He's
We
just
know
kind
you
of like evil to be evil.
Yeah, he's great and everything.
Yeah.
We know you secretly love all the fish sex. We talked about this in the
It's
Del
a
Toro
very
show.
romantic
You already go over this.
movie. You know what? Sometimes I'm in a romantic mood.
I love that movie though. Yeah, I can't remember if I watched it just before we did that stream or just after, because I think the stream made me want to watch it because I hadn't seen it in a while.
Yeah,
And the
it's
art
really-
direction is so good in it. I just love.
Mhm.
I don't even know what that's called, but like Amelie is sort of that way. Also, like Mouse Hunt kind of feels that way. I don't know. I don't know what you would call that. I'm sure there's a name for it, but yeah, that look that movie has is so good.
All right, we got Holland saying, "I love the ship for Titanic."
The
He
ship,
loves
dude.
he loves the Titanic.
Did you guys know
Oh,
that
the
movie's
ship
based on a
crash,
true
yeah.
story?
Yeah,
I'm like, I was just thinking, like, you just like love the ship in general. Like, it's a
apparently
nice
the ship didn't break though. They like just discovered that didn't happen recently.
Oh, really?
Like that, it didn't bob.
It didn't like bow and snap in half. I don't think.
Yeah, which is amazing that eyewitness accounts like didn't. You think that would have already been known or said in
Right.
eyewitness accounts, but
It's the Mandela effect. That's why.
Like, it's
Yeah.
cool in the movie though. All the old people see the
Yeah.
movie were like, yeah, I guess that's what happened. I don't remember. I was terrified.
Yeah.
I
right,
was freezing to death on the lifeboat.
too far out maybe to see.
Spicy saying, "I've never seen Titanic." What are you doing,
Spicy,
Spicy?
wow.
You got to get on this.
Yeah. A Night to
Oh,
Remember.
man,
I
you
want
love
to see that on Criterion. About the same. The sinking.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Spicy saying, "I don't love that runtime." Well, apparently it's shorter than Ben Hur. So
Yeah. Of the Rings. Yeah.
Holland saying, "I wanted more Spacey in American Beauty."
I mean, he's in the whole damn movie, but I love him.
Yeah, he's the main character, right? One of the main characters.
One of the two, yeah, essentially.
Holland O saying, "Spicy, it flies by. It's that good." I agree. I do not feel the runtime on Titanic. I feel
No,
that
Yeah,
it's
me
slow.
either.
Well,
Yeah. It
The,
seems
the
shorter
slower
than the-
parts in the beginning are interesting just because there's so much. I don't know if you want to call it world building, but just like the
Yeah.
actual ship that they created for the movie is insanely impressive. Still,
But and I love how they do that. I love how they have the slower part at the beginning. So by the time you're almost about to fill it, then you get the giant action sequences, and you're like, "Oh yeah, let's
Yeah,
finish it."
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, did you all see where Cameron finally admitted that Jack could have fit on the door?
Yep.
Oh, did he finally admit it?
Yeah, he finally did. After MythBusters and like 9,000 other people were like, "No, really, the door was big enough."
Well, I mean, yeah, you could so tell. I mean, the door was massive. It's like
Yeah.
Rose isn't that
Yeah.
big. Like, come on.
His 130-pound scrawny body was not going to sink that door.
Yeah.
His heart and mind were on keeping her safe rather than himself.
Yeah.
But Rose was just kind of chill with it too. Like Rose wasn't like, "Let's come up here." Like,
The-
like
the-
trying to-
right.
I would pull
The
him up
real
there.
villain
Really
of that
interesting.
story. The real
You'll
villain.
never
right
know
there.
that you drew me like one of your French women.
It is weird that he just didn't make it smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back in and digitally do that.
yeah, go George Lucas it.
Yeah. Billy
Yeah.
Zane didn't have a problem surviving.
Well,
that movie,
then
so-
people on the flip side of the coin would be like, "No, the doors were this big in the Titanic, so it should, or whatever the heck it
Yeah.
was."
Right.
It would be
Couldn't
the
have happened.
ordeal.
Like chop away at it a little bit.
Yeah, Spicy's waiting on that 4K. Yeah, when the 4K comes out, I'll check it out.
Should
I mean,
be
it
this
sounds
year,
hopeful. Sounds
Well,
hopeful.
Yeah, you might be waiting another like 10 years, but all right. So we are now on to our number one first favorite best picture. If it hasn't already been chosen.
Yeah.
If it has, still let us know what your number one would have been.
Yeah.
All right, Peer Hangout. What do we got?
So my number one was Return of the King, but that was picked, so I'm putting that aside. And this is kind of tough. I do have a few over here on reserve, but I'm going to go.
Beer hang
I'm
out.
gonna
You're
go-
frozen.
I'm
Suspense.
sorry. I'm sorry. I think I'm back now.
You're back.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go with one that is sort of hated. If you look at a list of the greatest Best Picture winners of all time, or all the Best Pictures ranked, this one's usually towards the bottom, but it's one that I like a lot, and it's the first talkie to ever win Best Picture, The Broadway Melody. So this is the second Best Picture winner to win in the history of the Academy Awards. And it's another light fare one, similar to Marty. It's just, not overly dramatic or an enormous large spectacle or anything like that. And it's about these two sisters that are trying to break into show business. One has business savvy and the other one is like very beautiful. Although in my opinion, the one who's business savvy is much more like my brand. Like I think she's the beautiful one. But and they sort of have some troubles and are sort of pitted against each other through various things that are happening while in show business. And it's just their road to fame. Do they make it? Do they not? Does one make it? Does one not? That sort of thing. But yeah, I've always liked this one.
I was not expecting that one, so good pool.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm its only champion. I really do.
It's definitely not the worst reviewed one ever. That's Greatest Show on Earth. I think is usually the worst.
Yeah.
No, don't talk
Yeah.
bad on that one. That was going to be my honorable mention there. Love the
Broadway
Greatest Show on
Melody.
Earth.
Broadway Melody is usually maybe third from the bottom, because then it's usually Cimarron after that, and then Broadway Melody.
Yeah, that one.
All right, Derek, what do we got?
Well, we didn't know my number one. At least I have a different case for it. That's cool.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
For this ugly digital copy thing here, that's like, oh, really? Thanks. But yeah, I love the case otherwise. I actually double dipped on this on Blu-ray because I had the regular one and I'm like, 2 discs of this movie. I need it. So this is one I want on 4K so bad. Just so I could buy it again because I love it that much. But I love the Coen brothers. They are my favorite filmmakers. This might be my favorite movie ever. It's hard to gauge depending on your mood, as we all know who love movies. But this is always up there. If not my favorite, it's like top 5. I named my child after the Coen brothers. That's how much I love them. But one interesting thing about this movie that I didn't think of the 3 times I saw this in theaters was how the 3 main characters never actually see each other throughout the entire runtime of the movie.
Right.
And it's just very interesting how that's possible and extremely captivating. And I love what's her name? Kelly MacDonald, who plays Josh Brolin's wife. Is Kelly MacDonald? Sounds right. And all the other women in the movie are the only one to defeat Anton Chigurh because they just don't take his shit, just like all the other guys in the movie. So he always gets very subtly irritated at every woman in the movie because they won't take his crap. It's just funny. But yes, I love it. Oh yeah, and I'm supposed to pick something else now. Hold on. You know what the hell? Let's just go with this. It's not his best movie. He should have won several Oscars before this movie came out, but I love this movie and I've watched it a bajillion times. The Departed.
Yeah.
I was
Nice.
extremely happy when Martin Scorsese finally won in a fairly weak year from what I can recall of all the nominees that year. I love this movie. It's, probably in my top 5 Scorsese movies, but towards the bottom of those 5. And a lot of those I need to rewatch again to make go higher. But I love The Departed. It's more or less the last thing we'll ever get to see Jack Nicholson in, probably, and that's kind of sad, but he went out with a bang because I pretend that other movie he did after that doesn't exist because it's unwatchable.
He should have been nominated.
He should have, yes. Mark
I was
Wahlberg is
about
the only
to say,
actor
I'm
in that
like-
movie that got nominated.
I'm like,
Yeah.
really? That was his last movie? I'm like, I didn't think
He's
that.
in one more movie after it, like 2 years later, but it's, oh God, don't bother.
Like a romantic comedy with Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd gets to say, I was in Jack Nicholson's last movie.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And then with No Country for Old Men, I didn't even think about it until you mentioned it, how the characters don't see each other.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, they never
totally, that
actually see
slipped
each
my
other.
mind. That went way over me. I'm like, wow, I did not even realize that.
Now you watch it again, you'd be like, oh my God, it's true. Because they shoot at each other, but they never see each other.
Yeah, and they're always talking about each other too and all of that. So you think?
Yeah.
All right, Ben.
What's
All
our
right.
number one?
My number one is a guy who's growing on me as a director. I mean, he has the new movie Air that just came out. I'm going with Ben Affleck's Argo.
There you
So
go.
Oh, great choice.
it's a great movie. I love the story of how those 6 refugees are trapped, and it goes to the CIA, and Ben Affleck's character goes to in and rescue them under the disguise of making a documentary, making a movie to get him in there and then out again. So, yeah, I just love this movie. Like I said, he's growing on me as a director. So,
Mm-hmm.
Good one.
I love
Argo's a great
Argo. It
movie.
gets a lot of crap for some reason nowadays, but I've always
Oh,
love
that
it.
movie's so
Every time I saw it in
good.
theaters.
I've
Well,
only seen it
part-
one time, but it was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Part of
It's a
the
good
thing
studio
is
film.
that the story that he's actually telling did happen,
Yeah.
but it was like the backdoor story. Like I guess the way it was laid out, those people weren't even in the same building as the actual people that were being held hostage or something. Like it was something weird about it. Like it wasn't the main actual story or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and that movie's for you though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
Every
mean,
movie comes out of two
Yeah.
stories like that.
still happen. So
Right,
it's
exactly.
just it's not like the main hostage situation. Or
Yeah.
whatever. That's what I heard, but it's still a really good movie. And you know, have you seen The Town, Ben? The
Yeah.
Town is really
Town
good.
is so
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I need to watch it again. It's good though.
Yeah.
Air looks
So
good. I'm excited for Air.
Steve, you had talked about how Annie Hall famously beat Star Wars. But what I love about Argo is I think it's the end credits, or maybe it's the opening, I think one of the two, it has the Star Wars action figures. So that was one of the reasons I was happy with Argo winning that year, was because Star Wars is represented there. So it may not have a Best Picture title, but it's in a Best Picture winner through those toys.
That was
Right.
Nice.
Deal.
All right, Steve.
All right.
Number
Well,
one.
I'm glad nobody took this one because it's probably my third favorite movie of all time. It's The Godfather.
Oh man, now I got to pick a different one.
1972. I mean, the sequel is great too, but the sequel is way longer. Was 3 hours and 22 minutes. This one's like 2 hours 55 minutes. You know, Marlon Brando again. I got to mention Marlon Brando again. You know, Al Pacino is great in it. James Caan. You know, just amazing. There's so many quotable lines in this movie. I got to see this in the theater last year for the first time ever, and it was just an honor to see this on the big screen. And you know, like I said, the sequel's great too. But you know, I love the original. Like I said, it's my third favorite. Probably Jaws. I like just slightly more than this, and like the original Star Wars or trilogy. You know, but yeah, the third favorite movie of all time. It doesn't get too much better than this. But as far as mafia movies, you know, it's so many great lines. You know, leave the gun, take the cannoli. You know, it's one of those great lines. Make them an offer you can't refuse. You know, those great lines I've quoted most of my life. The love of Godfather.
You had that as well, Ryan.
It was in my backup. It's honestly, it's the only Godfather movie that I know that I've seen cobbled together over multiple viewings. So I got all 3 steelbooks. I need to sit down and make a weekend of it and watch all 3 of them and finally get the full experience.
So do I. It's been a long time.
Oh, Ryan, you haven't seen all 3 yet?
No, I have not.
Only the first one?
I've only seen the first one because they used to play it all the time back in the 80s on TBS or TNT or whatever. I've seen parts of 2 and 3 I've never seen, and I never wanted to see it because I heard Sofia Coppola basically ruined it. Which now she's one of my favorite directors, which is weird. So I need to sit down and watch it. And you skipped over me.
I did. Oh,
I did. He's going to pick The Godfather.
Were you going to choose The Godfather? Did I totally? Oops.
No. I was not going to pick The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
I was not gonna...
Feel
So
a little better
mine is a 2014 movie. Alejandro Inarritu. I can never say his name right, but Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance.
Okay.
And I love this movie.
That's cool.
See, nice
Oh,
little
that's
steelbook.
cool.
But the one shot take, I loved it. But Batman '89 is my Batman. Michael Keaton is my Batman. To see him play this former superhero movie star that was trying to make a play was awesome. Emma Stone's great in this. Edward Norton's great in this. But I just love how they did this. And this really kind of is one of the reasons why I like Best Picture winners, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Birdman, I love just the way this was shot and how it's ran. So that is my number one. I'm glad nobody picked it, but yes.
Yeah.
Nice
Good
one.
one. Good one, Ryan. Good one. Yep.
Yay, a superhero movie finally. Kind of.
Right?
It's a superhero movie, however you want to interpret the end of it.
Right.
Backstory of a superhero. Yeah.
My number one was Return of the King, but somebody had to ruin that right off the bat.
I figured I would do that for everybody just to make it easier.
Yeah, so my number one was going to be Titanic because it's a masterpiece. I can rewatch it all the time, but already taken. So I was going to go with then, of course, the Godfather movies, but that was taken too. I will say for the Godfather movies, I do think 3 is underrated. I still think 3 is a good movie. I know people hate on it because they don't think it's as great as the first 2. Fair enough, but it's still pretty decent. So I can still watch that one. But number one, my favorite, of course. So I love number one. But now I got to pivot. Now I got to pick something else. So you all
Pivot.
We're not saying the best things about the greatest show on earth. So I'm going to have to, say some good praises about this movie. I only seen it one time, but I really enjoyed it. I love the circus animals, how they're using all real animals because you had to do that during that time. It's not all these visual CGI effects now. So the animals were really cool. I love the big circus scenery, seeing all those acrobatics and all the tricks in there. I thought that was awesome. And you got Jimmy Stewart as a clown in this movie. Jimmy Stewart, my favorite classic actor of all time. He does a great job. I love his story in here. He's like trying to stay hidden as a clown at the circus. So I thought that was a really interesting plot point. And why I picked up this movie is because I was watching The Fabelmans, and then they showed the famous train crash sequence, and I thought, wait, what movie is that in? What's that scene? That looks really interesting. That train crash sequence is in The Greatest Show on Earth, and it's an epic scene in the movie, really thrilling and entertaining. So this one needs to get talked about more. It is very, very good. So I really like The Greatest Show on Earth.
I still need to see it, but The Fabelmans did make me want to watch it more than ever also. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, that's why I picked it up, and they were doing like a sale on it too. So I'm like, oh, Paramount title's on sale. Let me grab that one. I'm happy I did. It's quite good.
I always like the circus parade and how horrifying Mickey and Minnie Mouse are in it. That's terrifying.
Early Mickey and Minnie Mouse were terrifying.
Nothing's creepier than these parades.
Holland saying Birdman is high on the list for me to see. Also, still
Birdman is great.
Need to watch it.
Check that one
It's
out.
a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Keaton, you cannot go wrong. All right, let's get into now, I think, the most important question of the night, because I want to see everybody's take on this. This is going to be interesting. What does Best Picture mean to you? Because some people really value Best Picture. Some people are like, oh, I don't care if that's Best Picture. So let's go to the one who has seen all the Best Pictures. Pure Hangout. What does Best Picture mean to you?
So it kind of changes from year to year what is available, because there are times when, like, I remember when Black Panther was nominated, a lot of people were like, what, that's not even close to the best superhero film that's ever been made. And I agree, but what it did for the superhero genre, did for the culture, how many people went to go see it, I feel like that can be an example of what a Best Picture is, similar to Top Gun Maverick. Like, people are like, that's just populist, popcorn stuff. And it's like, yeah, but it reignited cinemas. And, you could argue that No Way Home did, or whatever it was called, that Spider-Man movie. But I like when movies like that get in, when there's a non-prestige reason for calling it Best Picture. Maybe it doesn't deserve the award because it already won the box office, but I think that nomination is very good because it did really accomplish something. So I love when that stuff happens, and that's why I think Titanic is one of the best winners. And I would have been totally cool with Avatar winning over The Hurt Locker for that same reason. Not Avatar 2, because that's just like 2 out of what's going to be like 5 or 6. But Avatar 1, that really was something, and a giant technical achievement. And that's why I think Lord of the Rings is a great winner, because it's massive, it's epic, but also an amazing technical achievement. But sometimes I just like a small little story, like Ordinary People in the 80s. That was sort of maybe controversial in the way it was talking about mental health, which was not a major topic back then, where it kind of is now, but not back then. So that was paving the way for something that is not taboo as it was back then. So it kind of depends on the year, but sometimes it's the formal qualities, sometimes it's the grandness, and sometimes it's the topic or what it does for the culture.
Oh, awesome. Great perspective. I like how yours, it varies depending on the year and the situation. Interesting take. Let's go to Derek. What is
what
best
he
picture
said.
mean to you?
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta follow it up now.
Right. But it is, yeah, seriously what Derek said. A best picture winner to me should either be a movie that moves cinema forward in a way, whether it's technologically or in a unique storytelling way, like Everything Everywhere All at Once did, for example, or even a genre nominee like something like District 9, which I love that got nominated. That's one of my favorite best picture nominees ever, just because it's like, what, this like documentary style alien rescue film got nominated for best picture because it deserves it, because it's unique and it's impressively made, and the visual effects are better than Avatar. I'll say it again, I'll die on that hill. It's like I either want it to be that, or I want it to be a movie that fits in the Oscar movie bubble, but it has to be as good as it was that year 20 years from now. Like, you need to have the foresight, like you should be voting on it with a foresight of like decades, thinking like, is this movie going to be this good 20 years from now, or is it just a flash in the pan thing that happened to time out? Because you could say that about many nominees, especially the popular ones that squeak in to best picture. But yeah, that's my theory on it, on top of every single thing that Derek
said. Good point, though. I never thought about it that way. Thinking into the future, hey, is this winner going to be one we're proud of later on?
That's a great point.
Will it make us cringe in 5 years?
Yeah, you look back at it and you're like, what? This one compared to all the other nominees? What went wrong here? Right? I get it. Ben, what does best picture mean to you?
For me, it's something that you can get lost. A couple things. One, you can get lost in the world, like we mentioned Avatar. You can just get lost in that world. Something that's historic, that counts the reaction of what it had, the importance it had on history. Something that makes you just want to go and watch it, because you're like, why were all these movies nominated? I haven't seen a single one of these this year. I heard they came out, but why did this one win? To me, it makes you want to dive back into it. And I mean, the stuff behind me is great to have, but I mean, if we're not watching it, what's the point? And that's what, to me, that's what best picture means. It's something, hey, here, this is the best picture this year. Why was it that? Go and watch it and find out.
So there's an actual reason behind it. Right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. And then Ryan, what does best picture mean to you?
Oh, what they all said. I mean, no. So to me, a best picture is something, like Derek said, moves the industry forward, is innovative. Like Birdman, one shot take. Yes, it's been done before, but Birdman did it really good. And now we've had other one-shot movies since then. But is the best movie always the best movie of the year? No. But it's usually the best in something that it did that year. And that's why I always like seeing all these different movies, because you never know what you're going to get. Like you said, Black Panther or District 9, which I loved that got a nod. Like, that is not a movie that should be in the snobbery world of best picture. But I don't mean snobbery in a bad way, but you've got you put stuff on a pedestal because a reason. That's where we're calling it the best movie. But the movie has to innovate. It has to change something. It has to do something a little bit better. It has to tweak on looks or technology or whatever. And that, to me, is what makes a best movie. Something that just changes the definition a little bit for the better.
So going for innovation, changing the game. I like that. That's a good one. Steve, how about to you? What does Best Picture mean?
Yeah, to me, it's not necessarily the most popular movie. And some people think the box office, that was the best picture. It's usually, with the Oscars, it's usually like the most dramatic movie. I thought like one year that I thought The Social Network was going to win for sure. And The King's Speech won, which King's Speech is a good movie. I really liked it. It kind of came out of nowhere. I think it won like the BAFTA or something that year. And like I'd never heard of it. And then all of a sudden that week of the Oscars, it took The Social Network out. David Fincher, one of his best movies, that kind of thing. With like The Return of the King, this movie, I remember critics hated the first two. They hated the first one because they didn't really know the Lord of the Rings story, and then all of a sudden they liked The Two Towers, and then by the time they got to this movie, they loved it. They knew where the story was going to end, and all of a sudden they got on board just like the fans did. So it's one of the rare times of a fantasy movie, one Best Picture. That's a rare time the most popular movie actually did win Best Picture, and most people couldn't argue with it at the time. So definitely it tends to be the most dramatic. But if it's like a popcorn movie or a big box office kind of movie, it doesn't necessarily going to win. Like La La Land lost to was a Moonlight that year. And when you're talking about movies that we're going to talk about 20 years from now, are we going to talk about? We may not talk about La La Land that much either, but Moonlight, no one talks about that movie now. It's kind of forgotten. And that was the big where they had La La Land on the stage. They named them Best Picture, and then all of a sudden they told them to get off the stage, and they made a mistake. Like it was kind of a mockery of the Oscars that year. So they're still trying to recover from that. To me, it's not necessarily the most popular movie. It's usually Hollywood votes on it. A lot of actors vote on it. So they tend to be what they think was the most dramatic and the best acting. It's got to be all that. I thought this year a popular movie won, and I really, really love Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I was happy that one won. But it doesn't always happen that way. It's not always your favorite doesn't always win. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, for me, Best Picture should mean what is the best film of the year. Now, it doesn't always mean like what's my favorite movie, because of course my favorite movie doesn't always win. I mean, it hardly does. But I'm always kind of looking for what is a well-rounded movie. You all were giving great points. I would definitely factor in. Is it culturally significant during that time? Does it help move anything forward? Is it innovative? Of course, I think you do have to be entertaining. Doesn't mean it has to be like a big blockbuster action movie, but people have to want to watch it. It can't be a movie where it's like, okay, I saw that. I definitely never want to see it again under any circumstances. So there has to be some entertainment value there, because you want people to go back and rewatch it again and get something out of it. It could be motivational, inspirational. And so I think all those factors get included. So I'm always looking for what's the well-rounded movie that year. Out of the nominees, that's who I think should be Best Picture. So I was very happy with this year of Everything Everywhere All at Once, because to me, I thought that was a really well-rounded film. It had everything in there. You had comedy, action, drama. It was beautifully filmed. It was well edited together. The acting talent was amazing. And it had a message. It had themes. It had stuff people could learn from. So to me, it was probably the most well-rounded out of all the movies. Now, I would have probably gone my favorite's Top Gun Maverick, but I'm still very happy with Everything Everywhere All at Once winning, just because I think it had all those factors within it. So I was very happy with that pick. But yeah, to me, Best Picture should be what is the best film of that year. But I mean, that varies from person to person too. Everybody, that's going to mean something different. But that's why I like hearing everybody's thoughts on this question and opinions, because you guys all had something different to add to it. So I thought that was fascinating. All right, let's get into some honorable mentions, because there's so many Best Picture winners out there. Pure Hangout, how many did you say there were again? 90 something?
95, is that right? 95, 96?
95,
95 if you don't include Sunrise.
Right.
All right, so
Which I
let's
don't.
give some honorables here, and we'll just kind of run through maybe a handful each. So let's go to Pure Hangout. What do we got?
Okay, so some of the ones that weren't mentioned. I don't think, did anybody mention Gladiator? I think I saw it come up, but that wasn't anybody's favorite, right?
No,
No.
no, mention it.
Okay, so yeah, I had Gladiator on there. Joaquin Phoenix as the villain does fantastic work. I was surprised this didn't come up. This one was almost the one I was going to use as my replacement, but then I went with Broadway Melody. Love Mel Gibson in this. When it comes to historical accuracy, supposedly this one is absolutely incorrect, but you know, again, that's the movies. That's okay with me. This is art. This isn't a documentary. And then The Best Years of Our Lives, which shows the way some of the World War II veterans, when they came home, the different struggles that they had to deal with, and it follows 3 men coming home and the struggles that they dealt with during that time. This is a great one, and I feel like it's sort of like in the Oscar world or whatever is blowing up. Like this movie is climbing on the greatest Oscar Best Picture winners ever lists. It keeps getting higher and higher. So definitely check that one out. And then Amadeus, I was kind of surprised this one didn't pop up, but I guess maybe I think this one's more famous than it is, but this one is absolutely bizarre. It's very a chaotic movie. It feels that way anyway. Very loud and funny and dramatic at the same time. I don't know, has everything. But those were the main ones that I had for honorable mentions.
All right.
Yeah, Amadeus is supposed to be on Criterion. It was announced like 2 years ago. It still hasn't been released.
Yeah, I haven't seen Amadeus yet, so I need to check it out. Oh, Ryan, what were you holding up?
Oh,
that's a really cool Gladiator copy.
That was on my list too. My novels.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good pick. Yeah, I need to see Amadeus, so that would be cool to get like a 4K Criterion copy. I'd definitely be down for that.
Yeah,
and
every time I hear Amadeus, all I can think of is "Rock Me Amadeus."
Yeah.
Amadeus.
And if you like Schwarzenegger's Last Action Hero, when you watch Amadeus, that movie will be so much funnier.
Yeah,
it is. Yes,
worth it for that. It's like watching The Seventh Seal is always good to watch before The Last Action Hero. So.
Right.
Yeah.
That's Milos Forman. He did the Amadeus and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as well. And won Oscars for both.
All right, so I had, it's because I thought no one would mention it. No one did. I love Slumdog Millionaire. This movie's great. It's one of those movies that I didn't expect to like. Like this is the one year I actually went to the theater and saw all 5 Best Picture nominees back to back in one day. Like it was a thing you can go do, and you sit through all 5 of them, and like after 2 or 3 of them, you like have an hour to go eat or something, before you could actually order food in the theater. In those old days, but yeah, it was an all day thing, and this was I think the 2nd or 3rd movie we watched that day, and it ended up being far and away my favorite one, and it probably still is. I love Benjamin Button, which I know a lot of people don't like because I love David Fincher. This movie is definitely more unique, as odd as it is for a strange movie like Benjamin Button. But Slumdog Millionaire, it's great. A lot of people poop on it for winning Best Picture of the Year. Dark Knight should have been nominated for and winning everything, but it didn't happen. So what are you gonna do? And I grabbed Platoon just because it's probably the one war movie that won Best Picture. So not Saving Private Ryan. Right. That I could go back and rewatch fairly often, which is hard to do for war movies, especially fairly realistic and disturbing ones that are based on personal events like this, because it's based on Oliver Stone's experiences to an extent.
Right.
And I too rock Amadeus in my honorable mention pile.
Amadeus.
And mine comes with the CD, not the Falco CD, but the actual soundtrack of the movie.
And that's the director's cut, right?
Yeah. So how long is this?
Yeah.
So it's still only 3 hours. It's barely. That's nothing compared to the other movies you're talking about.
It took me forever to find the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
don't even know if I've seen the original now. I think I've only owned this. But there's a digital copy disc under the card. I didn't even know that was there.
Might be expired.
I wonder if that still works. But yeah, it's like the most Oscar-y movie on paper, but that's like you were saying, it's so bizarre and surprisingly hilarious and entertaining when you actually get down to watching it.
Yeah.
Ryan, you had Platoon as well.
Yeah, it's. I agree with Derek. It's one of the few war movies you can watch over and over and get something different out of every time. It's really, really good.
Yeah, the cast in that movie is amazing too. Like just all the different performances. I mean, Willem Dafoe was like, oh my.
Oh, he's
goodness.
great. I love Willem Dafoe in that movie. But yeah, there's so many people that I wasn't it, like Keith David and stuff.
That's a nice looking one right there. Oh.
Yeah, this is the Steelbook DVD, and I had the chance to meet Oliver Stone at a screening of Born on the 4th of July, and got him to sign it. So that's his real signature there.
That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
All right, Ben. What do we got?
I didn't pull out to show it, but I have Return of the King on my honorable mentions list because I'm like, I know people are gonna pull this, so I'm not even gonna bother taking it out. So right there behind me, that big square thing right up there, Deer Hunter.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. I would also put I couldn't find my copies of Sound of Music or West Side Story. And I couldn't find my copy of Rebecca anywhere. I'm rearranging my room down here, so that's why I couldn't find them. But I'm going to show these two right here. Braveheart and The Hurt Locker. So, yeah, so those would round off what I mentioned, plus those two would round off my honorable mentions.
And it was awesome how Hurt Locker won because I heard like nobody went to go see that movie. So had very low box office. So if it didn't win, probably not many people would have watched the movie. So I'm glad it did because it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the lowest grossing Best Picture winner until COVID happened. Basically.
Right.
And streaming.
Oh, and Peer Hangout, you had that Deer Hunter, right?
Yeah, this is another one from that Legacy series. But it's kind of a nice packaging there.
Nice. And those are DVDs, right? They're not Blu-ray.
Yeah, those are DVDs.
Yeah, those are for what I have. Yeah.
Deer Hunter.
Ooh, that is awesome.
Laserdisc.
That's a little art.
Yeah.
What's the one you mentioned, Derek? About the vets coming home in World War II, kind of best years of our lives. Deer Hunter is a lot like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, right. The gritty version, grittier version.
Yeah, Ben, let's see the back of that one again. Oh, nice.
That's a good one.
That's cool.
All right, Ryan.
So I've shown off pretty much everything, but also in this box set that I showed off the Rain Man, there's also Midnight Cowboy, which is good. In the Heat of the Night, and we got Rocky down here, but then we also have Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves, which was also a very good movie. Slow, but very good.
Beat Misery that year too, in 1990.
Yeah, which
Misery was the same year.
Beat Goodfellas.
Yeah, Goodfellas, same year.
I really like Dances with Wolves, though. That's a great pick.
Yeah,
that's a great movie. It's another 4
I think
hours.
I may have shown this one off before in one of your streams, but this is sort of designed to be like his journal. So it has this little flap here, and then you can open it up and then have the. Actually, this is something written by Kevin Costner about the movie. But yeah, I thought that was fun packaging.
Remember when DVDs had really good packaging?
I was just saying, like I said, I wish I would have just kept the boxes from a lot of my DVDs and shoved my Blu-rays into them.
Yeah, I know. Pure Hangout, you're like showing some awesome additions. I'm like, wow, those are so cool. How do we get those? We're like, oh,
what a good
DVD ones.
I know. I was going to say something after Ben said it. Rebecca. I've only seen one Hitchcock film, and that's been Psycho.
Right.
And Rebecca was suggested when I did my November Barnes and Noble's 50% off Criterion thing. Nate from Netflix Review said to buy it, so I bought it. I haven't watched it yet, so I need to buy it watch it because I did not know that it's a Best Picture winner. So
his only
two Hitchcock movies.
His only Academy Award winning movie at
Right.
all.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he didn't.
and he didn't even win director.
Yeah, no.
No.
Best
No.
picture. Yeah.
So
Ryan,
is
Oh yeah, Peter, hang out. Go for it.
well, I was going to ask Ryan, is Rebecca? So I have it on DVD Criterion. Has it been upgraded?
I'm going to be honest. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just bought it
It's
because
on
I was
Blu-ray.
told to buy
There's
it.
a
So I'm
Blu-ray.
going to assume it
Yeah.
was upgraded.
Blu-ray, not
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah,
4K
yeah.
yet.
Yeah, I have a Blu-ray. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
It's got different artwork on it too. It's got,
that's-
I want to
that's
say
the
it's
old
majority black with her standing, maybe like she's against a light or something. You just see her outline.
Okay.
Right.
I'm being loud.
I may
I'm
that one
quite
would be
loud.
one worth upgrading. I may do that.
Oh,
That's only
Ryan, I
Got
missed
4K
it.
planned.
Oh, which one did you say you've seen from Hitchcock?
Just Psycho. That is
Psycho.
literally
Just
the
Psycho.
only thing I've ever watched. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
How about
Okay.
Second Silhouette or something? Yeah.
Yeah,
like
you'll
that.
have to tell me what you think of it, Ryan, when you do get around to it. Because to me, Rebecca's like on my lower
Yeah.
end of Hitchcock rankings. So
That's Rebecca.
I know a lot of people love it though.
Mm.
But I will say,
So
Rear Window. You got to watch Rear Window.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my favorite.
Birds.
and that's
are
one thing I'm
really
gonna do. I'm waiting to get those 4K sets, the two sets that came out in the last
yeah,
2
they're
years,
so nice.
and get them a lot cheaper than what they've been.
Yeah.
I've missed one time when they were like $30 or something a couple months ago, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick them up and get
Gotta
into it.
go on Groove.com when they do like their Father's Day sale or something that they'll probably do again this year.
Yeah.
And then they were like $30 on there.
Yeah, that's why I think I missed out on they have a New Year's sale or something like that. I don't know. I missed out on it. I need to pick them up though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Groove will do weekend deals often, and they always change and rotate what movies they'll put on sale. So
Yeah, every
Groove's
month
gonna
they
have
do
some
some
great
sort of
deals. Yeah.
theme thing. Like they've been doing kids movies for Easter all this last week, and next month it'll be something different. Then they'll do Father's Day probably for May again, like they did last year. I bought like 30 movies last year when they did that.
All right, Steve, what do we got?
Well, Ryan just mentioned this, but it's Midnight Cowboy. It's the only like X-rated movie to win an Oscar.
Yep.
And then later on, the MPAA changed it to an R, but it's like they changed it to an R. The John Schlesinger was asked to make a cut in the movie. If you've seen the movie, you'll probably know what scene they wanted to cut out, and he said, "No, I'm not going to change it. I'm not changing anything. I just won an Oscar with this movie." So like a few months later, they came back and just made it an R-rated rating anyway and released it in theaters. So to me, that's a kind of a rebel move to do that. But Dustin Hoffman and John Boyd are great in this movie. You know, really great. No one mentioned Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood,
Nice.
Morgan Freeman,
Yeah.
Gene Hackman, Richard Harris. You know, great movie. And then the final one, Beautiful Mind, from Ron Howard. You know, Ed Harris, Russell Crowe. Really like this movie too. If you've never seen it, it's definitely worth a watch for sure.
That's based on a true story, isn't it? About the physicist or whatever it is,
Right.
That
Mhm.
does the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Huh? Yeah, and then of course Godfather 2. I talked about earlier. That's great with Robert De Niro. You know, amazing movie too. Godfather 2. Yeah.
Nice. So you had mentioned that Midnight Cowboy was X-rated. That's funny because right before it was Oliver, which was the only G-rated to win. So they went from G to X back to back.
By today's standards, I don't think Midnight Cowboy would get an X rating. But of course,
No.
they wouldn't show it in theaters because of that. But also the French Connection, I should have thrown that in as well.
That's a good one.
1971, William Franken. So yeah, that's
I
it.
remember when I watched Midnight Cowboy, I was like, why is this rated X? Why is this
Yeah.
rated X? It's like,
Yeah,
nothing.
that's
it'd be a
an
soft
interesting
R
fact,
today.
Yeah, I didn't even know they went back and changed ratings like that. Like I thought when it's released with it, it's like that's what it's stuck with, and then you can always get like an unrated edition. But
There was a bunch of 80 stuff that got changed after they added PG or
PG-13
PG-13 or whichever one it
Yeah.
was, and then when they subsequently re-released them on home video, like there was a bunch of stuff that got changed.
Yeah, a lot of movies should have been PG-13 back then. You know, like Temple of Doom, where the guy
yeah, but now it's kind of weird because now it's like PG doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Where it's like PG used to mean. I feel like PG and PG-13 like just interchanged.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's
I
like
mean,
at this point, it's like you might as well just not even have PG and just have.
Yeah,
PG.
that's I'm
It's like movies like Frozen are rated PG. It's like why? It's like that should be
Mild
PG.
peril.
Yeah, it's like I'll go watch. I'll go watch Poltergeist rated PG, and then I'll go watch Frozen.
Yeah.
All right, so you all covered a lot of different picks. So I think I only got 4 more here that I don't think people mentioned as much. But Green Book, I know this one gets a lot of hate. I don't get it. I thought this was a really good movie. I mean, the performances here, Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali give amazing performances, and this one was really culturally significant. So I really enjoyed this movie. I had no problem with it winning. I don't know if it was my favorite movie of the year, but I still enjoyed it. Then I know Moonlight was mentioned real quickly, but I think it is a really good movie, especially how they were able to get that one character, like 3 different actors to play the one character, but it still feels like the same person. I mean, that's amazing how they were able to do that. So I really like seeing the different parts of the character's life and how things impacted them later on. And I thought it was really interesting. So I enjoyed Moonlight. Don't know if I'm ever going to rewatch it, but I enjoyed it. And then, no one mentioned this one, Giant, a classic movie here.
Wow.
We got a James Dean. So, yeah, a good Western movie.
That one didn't win.
Oh, didn't it? Did Giant not win? I thought Giant won. My bad.
One
You
Best
guys know
Director,
your movie.
and that's all it won.
Really? Oh my goodness. My fault. For some reason, I thought it
But
won.
Giant is great, and you should all watch Giant. He's right.
Yeah. Strike that from the record, everybody. Giant did not win.
Edit that
Good
out.
call, though. Gone with the Wind. This one won, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I like the first half of this movie. I think the first half is really good. It does get overly long, but the first half I did enjoy. But yep, that's all I had to show. So
Yeah, with Gone with the Wind, like Victor Fleming directed that and Wizard of Oz in the same year, but I don't think Victor Fleming. I don't think did he direct all of Gone with the Wind? I think they had different didn't they have different directors and he's
something
credited for
happened there.
2 movies in the same year. I don't know how he could have done that if unless
Especially those movies.
Yeah, I heard one of them had multiple directors and he ended up getting the top billing as a director. I don't know, but yeah, 2 movies in the same year that are like big time, big time, box office movies at a time. But yeah, Gone with the Wind is really long, really long movie. It's a must watch for everybody at least one time.
Adjusted for inflation, it has made the most at the box office.
Yeah.
Correct? I think that's still the case if you adjust for inflation. So, but it's like 2 different movies in one because first it's like the fallout of the war stuff. And then, like, you go into a family drama in the second half. So, like, completely changes genres.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in so long. God.
Yeah, Hattie
Very
McDaniel
epic
won
definition
Oscar
of
for
epic.
that. And, yeah.
Well, not really definition, but it is epic.
1939.
We got Michael in the chat saying, though I do like Rebecca, I prefer Foreign Correspondent. Both the Hitchcock nominated Best Picture in 1940. Oh, they came out the same year then.
Is that right?
Is it?
I believe so.
I don't remember.
No.
Yeah, I still need to see Foreign Correspondent. Yeah.
Same. Me too.
Me too. Yeah, when Mike asked me about if I knew anything about Alfred Hitchcock, I haven't seen so many of his movies, but I should. He has like almost 60 titles and filmography. Like it's hard to catch up on that.
Yeah, that was a tough stream to find people for. So
I grew up in a house. My dad's a huge Hitchcock fan, so he has a lot of different versions of them and everything. So I grew up watching a lot of those films.
Yeah, I've only seen like 5 of them, sadly, and
yeah,
and owning a 15 film box set that I've had for like a decade, and I just haven't gone around and finished watching them all.
Yeah, just don't start with Topaz. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to
That's
watch
why
the one I'm most interested in that I haven't seen.
That's why I'm no hurry in buying those box sets because I still have like, I don't know, 800, 900 movies I still need to watch.
And yes, Rebecca and Foreign Correspondent were released in the same year and up for Best Picture in the same year.
Wow. That's
really?
So, Mike, are you saying Topaz is so good we need to save it for last? Save the best for last?
I'm not a Topaz fan. There's only 2 Hitchcock movies I didn't care for, and that was Topaz and Torn Curtain. The rest of the ones I've seen were all good to great. So
yeah.
And
I need to watch Rope. because Tim
Yeah,
talks
that's
that
what I
Rope
was
movie
is
up.
so
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
If
Rope
you
is
love
great.
stage plays, you're gonna love Rope.
And not to mention the Hitchcock adjacent ones of the remake of both Psycho and Rear Window. They're actually both pretty good. Because the remake with Psycho with Vince Vaughn, it was actually shot scene by scene.
Right.
Yeah, Gus Van
And
Sant
then-
did that.
And
Yeah.
then the made-for-TV movie of Rear Window starring Christopher Reeve
Yeah,
was
that
actually
good.
pretty. It was a good one too.
It was good for a made-for-TV movie. Yes,
Yeah,
it
it
was.
Yeah, I
was,
didn't
yeah.
even know there was a made-for-TV one. That's
Mhm.
awesome. I gotta
Yeah,
check
yeah.
that
And then
out.
Christopher
there's-
Reeve. It's like the last big thing he did after his accident.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're
And
all familiar.
Disturbia, which has
Oh, I love
Shia
Disturbia.
LaBeouf,
Yeah,
is
good one.
basically
Yeah.
a Rear Window remake,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is
And
fun.
we're getting
Fun
for-
movie.
And we're
And
getting
you're
Vertigo
walking through the
remake.
woods at night, and you hear a noise, and you turn around, and you see him on all fours, running at full speed. Shia LaBeouf. Oh, sorry.
All right. Well, I'll give everybody a chance to kind of close out, promote anything they want on their channel. So, Peer Hangout, what do we got going on?
So I'm on my channel Pure Hangout doing random rankings. I've got I've got a couple lives coming up on the spot though. I'm having a tough time coming up with what they are, but I'll mention them on my Instagram. So keep an eye on that. I'm Pure Hangout on Instagram, also Twitter, but I don't use my Twitter very often. But I'll like your stuff. I'm on there liking things.
Yeah.
It's like me on TikTok. Like, I'll look at it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Derek, what do we got going on?
I have been lazy the last few weeks, and I haven't made a video in almost a month because Oscar season destroyed me, apparently. But having said that, I have a video series planned that I will unveil soon enough once I have time to actually watch some movies and make it. But things that are going to be happening on my channel, I'm doing another tournament live stream. I did a lot of Best Picture decades ones for the Oscars. So if you haven't seen those, go back and watch them. They're fun. I'm doing a Best Comedy Films stream on 4/20. It just worked out that way. So Thursday, April 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and 4 other gentlemen, including Ben Buster. Bob's Blu-rays, my brother, will finally be on my channel after all these years. Dude Who Loves Movies and Tim Talks Talkies, I think that was everyone, are going to be on there.
Yep.
So I have 32 comedy movies that I took from all-time great comedies lists and combined it with things that popular folks like and a nomination from each of the panelists.
Mhm.
And we'll pit those together to see what is the best comedy film ever. And they range from 1925 to several years ago. So it's a good range of movies.
Mhm.
Let me guess. Tim was coming up with some classic ones on that.
Well, he only got to pick one guaranteed nominee. So I put all the classic ones in for everybody else.
Mhm.
All right, Ben, what do you got going on?
I got my Walmart Wednesday. I just dropped one earlier, right before this live stream. I'm going to be recording this month's Rewind, where I look at films that haven't gone past DVD setting yet. And this one, if you watch my Walmart Wednesday, you'll figure out what it is. Well, I'll tell you guys here anyways. It's Flubber.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That's a fun
So
one.
doing Flubber and having Mr. Nichols on with me to discuss that movie. So
Okay.
since he's a big Robin Williams fan. And on the 20th, I'm part of Derek's stream about comedies, that comedy tournament. I'm looking forward to that because, as I told him when he mentioned it to me, I'm like going, dude, yeah, because pretty much most of my collection is comedy. So I just like coming home after a long day, putting on a comedy and just
Zoning out.
yes.
Yeah, now I'm trying to think of the comedies that have won Best Picture. Has there been any just straight up comedy win Best Picture? I know there's been dramedies, but I'm trying to think, has a pure comedy ever won?
Annie Hall's one of the closest ones you're going to get,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, probably Annie Hall.
And everything
I mean,
everywhere.
Broadway Melody, maybe a little bit.
There's things that are funny that one.
Yeah, actually Tom Jones. That's kind of like a spoof,
Yeah.
wild.
Mhm.
So Tom Jones, I guess, would be, but
Mhm.
There's not many.
yeah.
All right, and Ryan.
All right, so I had an unboxing video come out today, like I do every Wednesday, because it seems to be all I've been doing is unboxings. Because I just filmed another one today; they'll be coming out next week. And I'm glad Derek didn't mention this because I'll plug it then. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Tim Talks Talkies. top 25 90s movies list. Big O live stream. You got Derek, you got me, you got Bob's Blu-rays, Bearded Film Guy, KB Loves Movies, Kenny Levels from Mid-Level Media, Movies Ensue, Nick of Movie AVM Pulse, and Basement Blues on it. It's going to be a good time. 160 lists. He actually almost doubled the number that he got combining the last two that he done. So this is going to be an amazing stream. We're going to be there. There's going to be giveaways, gift cards, movies, all sorts of stuff. So Tim Talks Talkies, 8 p.m. Eastern, Saturday. Join us. That's the most excited I've been all night.
That was great, though. Yeah, we're working with Tim. Like I said, next, I did the top 25, and I told Ryan earlier this week, like I was surprised that Fargo was on my list and I don't think it made anybody else's list. And I love that movie from the 90s, but as far as my channel, I do rankings all the time. I love doing live streams. This is the third one I've done on Mike's channel. And I love it. I love meeting all you guys. It was fantastic tonight. I love doing Criterion Halls. I love. I have another channel called Excelsior Music Reviews as well, so I do a lot of that. And I also, of course, I do movie reviews when I can, but a lot of people don't really watch those videos a lot. But I go to the movie theater all the time, so I love talking about movies. Eventually, I'll probably do just short, like 1 minute reviews on movies and just do that part of it this summer. But yeah, love collecting Criterions. So, like I said, love meeting you guys tonight. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and then
Oh, sorry, Mike. I since I was on the spot before, I wasn't able to say it, but I'll be on Delon Movies on the 11th doing his movie swap, and then with Bob's Blu-rays, I'll be doing. I don't actually. Has he mentioned this yet? Maybe I shouldn't mention it. I don't think he's advertised this, so maybe I'll keep that one quiet just in case I'm not supposed to. But I'll be on Bob's Blu-rays eventually this month.
Yeah,
there's no telling. A little bit of a mystery right there.
Yeah, we'll teaser.
He's got 9 million things going on. So
yeah.
It's not one of the 5 streams he has thumbnails up for this week, so it's one of something.
Yeah, that's right. He was the Hall of Fame kind of thing, right? Yeah.
To let you know, Mike, there was Full Monty nominated and Four Weddings and a Funeral nominated as comedies.
Oh, nomination.
Yeah.
I still need to see those two. Actually, I haven't seen those yet.
I watched it for the first time for the 90s thing we did, and they were both
Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Fine.
Dark.
It's a comedy, though.
It's the best kind.
It's a dark comedy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, thank you so much, panel, for joining me here tonight. It was great to see everybody's picks and tons of variety here. So now hopefully everybody has some great recommendations out there to go watch. And then thank you, audience, for joining in on the live, leaving comments. And that was wonderful interactivity. And thank you if you're watching on the replay as well. Definitely leave those comments below, and I will get to them right away. And then for my channel, I'm dropping videos mostly every day, if not every other day. I just did a Super Mario Brothers out of theater reaction. And I will probably be doing a full-on review for that for my members of my channel. So if you're interested in that, go ahead, check out the channel memberships. And then my next live stream, I haven't put it together yet, but my idea probably in a week or two will be a top 5 video game movie ranking stream. So and actually I might expand it just the games in general. So if it's like a board game that was turned into a movie as well. So something like that. So that's probably going to happen in a couple weeks. So anybody out there in the community that does want to join in on that stream, just send me an Insta message. And then when I start getting the group together for that, I'll definitely include you with that one. But yeah, that sounds like a fun idea to me. So hopefully everybody's on board with that one. And then I'm dropping a ranking video tomorrow, ranking my favorite March pickup. So look forward to that. But thank you all again and have a great night out there, everybody. And go watch some movies.
Thanks, guys.